Welcome to Dicefunctional, where a bunch of friends sit around, throw some dice, tell a story, and we share that story with you, our wonderful audience. Thank you, everyone, so much for being here. We appreciate your presence and want to extend a special warm welcome to those of you who might be tuning in for the first time. Greetings and salutations to you, friends. We hope you enjoy your first taste of the Neighborhood Watch and all the shenanigans that we will inevitably get up to in this session. But before we begin, a few announcements so that way you can connect with us literally now or at any point in the future. The first thing before we get into it is, if you like watching things live, if you want to interact with us as things are going on, if you have some Saturdays free, check out twitch.tv/Dicefunctional, where we play this game live every Saturday at around 4 p.m. Eastern time. You can chat with us while we're playing the game and experience the story with us live as it is told. We also play games throughout the week. We do art stuff throughout the week, so make sure you're following over there so that way you can come and hang out with us whenever we are live. If you have missed an episode, if you want to catch up on previous episodes, you can head on over to YouTube, youtube.com/@Dicefunctional, where we have our entire campaign 2. We have our entire campaign 1, which is a whole lot of fun content over there. We have one-shots, we have gaming content, we have art content, and for those of you that are looking for a quick, catch up, if you want to get caught up to where we are at this point in the story, we have 2 and are working on our third, what we call checkpoint episodes. And they're anywhere from 5 to 10 minute little catch up. So, you can watch those and catch up on all the real important points of the story. So that way you can catch up. Those are a great thing, by the way, to send to friends who are interested in checking it out, but, don't want to, invest the next 3 weeks in trying to catch up to all the shenanigans this group has gotten up to at this point. If you like listening to things instead, if you're unable to watch something at the moment, or just prefer to not have to worry about watching anything, want to save data, make sure your data isn't getting scraped by Wi-Fi networks that you connect to. That's a joke, by the way. You can go to wherever it is that you get your podcasts. You can type in Dicefunctional, and we will be there with our entire Campaign 1 and Campaign 2, as well as the checkpoint episodes. So it's all on there for you to, hey, if you're going to go into the woods and, hide from the government for a while, 1, I don't blame you. 2, you can download all of our content and be entertained that entire time that you are living your best life. If you want to connect with us on socials, we are at Dicefunctional everywhere except for Twitter, where we are at Dicefunctional with an _ at the end. And if you want more information on the players and on the characters, you can look for our website. Just search Dicefunctional. We got an awesome website there that has a lot of information on the players and all of the characters, both from Campaign 1 and Campaign 2, as well as some really cool art on everybody. But that's enough talking from me. I have talked your ear off already, and we have a game to get to. So Connor, take it away.
Where we last left the Neighborhood Watch, they had just made their way through an abandoned location once made by Ttrpg. There, they had found a critter living there, discovered some old artifacts, and had managed to alert the rest of the Irons family to the location to bring them here. Then the party began making their way to the next dig site that they were going to poke around at, when they began experiencing some odd situations involving the bag of holding, as what appeared to be a twisted arm began reaching out of it, only to reveal the creature that had been hiding inside of the bag of holding the entire time, and seemingly was responsible for the deaths of the other bodies you had found in said bag of holding. You all managed to dispose of the creature by shoving it into the displacement chest and closing the chest on top of it, only to come back to it a few hours later and realize that the creature wasn't dead and had managed to crawl its way back out. After that, though, you then realized that the displacement chest was leading to a tower, one that had been long abandoned by a spellcaster of some sort. This is fine for you all, because now it means that you have effectively a new tower that is yours. Just a matter of getting it back into working order. Granted, you do still have the Twisted Man running around, and you're not sure where he's gone off to and when he'll show back up, but that's a problem for another day. Right now, let me get the music on. You guys have made your way to the base of the mountains, just to the east of Yentito. You can see that there are very clear signs of a dig site being present in this area. Carts have been piled up around the location itself, and it appears that scaffold setups have been set up in a large square area so far. It looks like they are currently bringing out dirt layer by layer to expose more materials. But you also note that deeper down, there do appear to be a few openings that are already going into something that looks like it was carved out of stone once upon a time. And people are intermittently coming in and out. And you can hear the faint murmur and conversation of other people, the occasional holler from workers, and the dictations from foremen telling them where things need to go and what needs to be done with more delicate objects. You can see at this area, nearby, there appear to be two people who you would guess are probably the folks who are in control of the entire thing. What appears to be an elf. They appear to be kind of tall, very skinny, longer ears. They look probably on the younger side of an adult elf. So you'd say probably like just into their hundreds or like just under their hundreds.
Young.
Yeah, younger.
Yeah.
Well, for an elf, of course.
Yeah.
They appear to have some slightly splotchy kind of skin coloration to them. There are spots where it kind of like discolors a little bit. Their hair is dark. Their skin is darker. Their hair is also kind of dark and a little tight curls. And they seem to be the less experienced of the two individuals here. The other one appears to be a dwarf. And you can see that the dwarf is explaining how dirt removal has to be handled in these situations, just because of how delicate the entire situation is, as they are currently conversing about how these kinds of situations need to be handled. But they appear to be the folks who are in charge of this current situation. Notably enough, anyone who has any passing knowledge of the government would know that Michelle's power went out. Oh! Well.
Good timing.
Perfect timing.
Jeez.
Well.
Speaking of passing knowledge of the government, way to go, government. Exactly.
Thank you, too.
What the fuck?
I mean, Florida's a fucking mess. We all knew that.
It's true. It's
You
true.
described the dwarf, by
It's
the
also
way.
kind of raining right now.
You described the elf, but not the dwarf.
I did. The dwarf is a smaller man, a short man, of course. Fairly stout. They've got red colored hair, like orange red, of course. Their hair is cut in a goatee style, so they got a mustache and they got the chin beard, but nothing on the sides. It goes down about 6 inches and then is braided and knotted together with several beads and other pieces to help it keep decorative. It is well kept and oiled. They are pale skinned, slightly freckled. Quite a hairy fellow, but definitely looks to be a little bit older. If you were to estimate, this guy's probably in his hundreds, well into it. There goes Michelle.
Yep.
And our cameras have gotten screwed up, but there's not much we can do about that.
Let me see if I can.
Her power's back. She's turning everything back on.
Okay, yeah.
Just give her a sec.
Apologies for the weird appearance of everything.
Everybody got scrambled.
Someone just
It's
lost
okay.
power. So the dwarf appears to be older by their standards. He looks to be in his say mid hundreds. So you'd estimate him to be like 40, 50 by human standards, something like that. but they definitely appear to be the folks in charge here. I will also note, it looks like the general makeup of the folks doing the labor is mixed as well. Humans and elves and half-elves and stuff like that, and dwarves aplenty. And okay, Michelle's gonna okay. There we go. There's Michelle. Got Michelle back.
What's up?
So, what would you guys like to do?
Well, we'll leave it to the people who know more.
Wow.
I'm gonna say probably want to talk to the people in charge, but I don't want to take the lead on that because I don't really know how we want to do this.
Well, I mean, the easiest way is to for us to just go up and introduce ourselves. So we have
You're the,
experience to offer.
You're the Edit Gemini expert.
All right. I will lead the way and walk up to them. Bonjour. I'm Usher Irons. Currently a member of the Neighborhood Watch. We have been tasked with going around to places very important to cultural significance in light of recent events, and we're just coming to see how everything is going. What is your name?
The elf will speak up and go, "My name is Jean-Francois. It is nice to meet you."
Jean-Francois. Bonjour. Well, what is it you have found here? Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of information.
We have found what appears to be a mining facility, or something of the sort. It looks to be long abandoned, long empty. Most likely, all signs are appearing to point to it being time of the schism, possibly. I am head of the research. Yeah.
Well, very well met. Very well met. So for your current safety protocols, is it just a classic mine, or is there a structure that you are currently working with?
Jean-Francois will kind of look down at the dwarf, and the dwarf will speak up and go, "It is a bit different from that. I am Miguel Aliga.
Bonjour. Very well met.
Nice to meet you as well. I am with the North Akitian government. We are assisting in the uncovering of the facility. I am in charge of the labor portion and
Understood.
the general guide of how everything is being handled."
Quite important. So as far as safety regulations, I am assuming it is, I will be frank, as safe as possible, no?
As safe as can be. The unfortunate thing with such locations is that the majority of the wooden structures that were once used to hold up the mine itself is long gone. As of now, it is a matter of moving slowly and making sure that no undue risk is taken.
Understood. Mostly just making sure that I'm able to make the notes where possible. So obviously regulations 226 and 457 are absolutely, everything is fine. Now, would you be able to show us a bit of what you have going on? That way I can properly describe it
Roll deception.
when I go to make my report.
You roll deception.
I feel like that was almost a baffling with bullshit.
It
if he's
is
making stuff
baffling.
up.
It
It's baffling with bullshit. And that's the problem, is I rolled well too. You said deception?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a 22.
Well, there is not much to be shown currently. A few shafts have been exposed, and we have been able to find evidence of the way the mining was performed, as well as some unique objects that may point to methods that were used. But a majority of it is, well, collapsed. And he'll point towards a map that they have basically begun sketching out. And it looks like effectively what he's describing. There are multiple shafts that travel down inward into the mining facility itself, and it looks to be your typical strip mine style, where they are setting it up and they're going in certain directions and making adjustments accordingly. But like there are multiple spots where it looks like they had to reinforce due to a collapse here. They have to clear out entire sections, and it is still just a mess.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm adjusting Becca's camera because the whole thing's just being weird on your camera specifically. Anyway, all right. So, if it is all right by you, could we just take a look at what you have already uncovered?
You would be allowed to go and look into the mine shaft itself. Avoid any areas where they're currently performing work. Those are the least stable.
Of course. We will absolutely make sure that we avoid any of your gentlemen. We will not, any of your workers. We will make sure that we do not slow any of them down.
It's not a matter of slowing them down. It's a matter of getting in the way and hurting yourself.
Very true. Regardless, we will make sure to stay out of their way for everybody's safety.
This is good. Now, you may go over there. Shaft 1 is currently available. Go ahead.
All right, let us go. And Asher will start slowly walking over, using the cane. He doesn't have like the helmet on or anything like that, trying to look more official or whatnot. Honestly, I just want to get us all close enough so that way I can see if I can find anything.
I figured.
We still have the pick, no?
I think we still do, yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of has it currently.
All right. This is.
The ones they tell you not to go into?
We are going to go wherever the fuck we want to go.
Yes,
Honestly.
I figured.
Wait. we have the equipment. We are better.
For this record, for like a second, I thought about rolling an insight check, and then I'm like, I don't need to. I know you're like fucking lying to this man.
Oh yeah. Fizzy's been around Asher enough to know when the baffle with bullshit starts coming out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you're fucking lying.
Like,
It's fine.
why are you throwing out numbers now? What the fuck? All right.
I am a little cautious about trying to mine ourselves.
Oh, we are not mining. We are simply inspecting for structural deficiencies. We're here to inspect the safety, and actually, if I'm being honest, if we can get to somewhere and make sure that it is safe and clear out anything that could possibly kill all of these people, we are actually doing what I have been saying that we are doing.
So it sounds like they haven't found it yet.
Absolutely not. There is no way. This is too fresh.
You have an idea of the kind of shape of what you're looking for?
I doubt this is a sphere, but I'm guessing it is probably. There could be a sphere, but my better guess is if this was. So we already found the forge. This is probably where they were taking all of the metals that were important and bringing them over there. The main thing that I am thinking is if Tetramana is as smart as I believe him to be, he could have very easily left something down there. that was too big to get out. Because if I were in his shoes, based on what it is that clearly it is that he has created as far as a network of doing all of these things, I would more focus on the forge, making sure that nobody would be able to come and easily copy the things that I have. Leaving a piece of mining equipment, potentially a whole lot easier to just leave behind in terms of cutting your losses. Everything here seems logical. So for the moment, I want to assume that he is being logical in what it was that he did. Now, the one question that has come to my mind, and if the rest of you could also keep an eye out for this, because I know I'm not the best at finding these, I would like to start trying to figure out why he shut all of this down. That is not something I am able to easily figure out. So if we can find things, I don't know if it was, if he had, if it was due to the schism itself, if it was danger that he faced from something else, or if it was just some sort of economic or social collapse, and he decided to consolidate.
Maybe he already had everything he wanted from it and just didn't care.
It is
Can't
likely.
know everything.
Yeah, if that was the case, I question the man's ambition. But that is for another time. But I will keep that in mind for now. All right. We're gonna walk to the first entrance, and then Asher.
I already assumed you guys were doing so.
Yeah. When we get there, Asher is holding the sphere as kind of a way to also help him focus this out. Asher is gonna cast locate object.
I also have locate object if you need it.
Ah, perfect.
I figured we were going on a fighting mission, so I adjusted my spells a little bit.
Awesome. All right. Cool. We're going to do, we're gonna start with locate object. Also, because if I get an idea of where it is we're going and what it is we're looking for, I can probably help you narrow it down, so that way we can figure out exactly where it is.
Are we trying to be sneaky or no? I don't think we're trying to be sneaky right now.
Not just yet.
Okay.
Not just yet.
Let me know when.
Will do. All right. Locate objects. Let's throw out the ping. All right. What do I get from the ping?
So what are you looking for in particular?
Asher is doing the thing again with the metal.
You're looking for that specific alloy again?
I'm looking for that specific alloy again. Because he doesn't know if it's a sphere. He doesn't know if it's a piece of equipment, but he knows that there was something important enough to Edit Tremini that this place was marked on the map, so he's guessing if the metal is there somewhere, that's a place to start.
Okay. So, casting locate object, you would find there are not many traces of the metal. It looks like a majority of the shafts are being very carefully excavated and are having things basically categorized as they are being taken out. So scraps of metal, things that may be bits of, archaeological objects are being basically taken, marked off, and then set aside. You're pretty confident of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of stuff that you're finding that can be anything past maybe like fingernail-sized scraps, not much.
Yeah.
This keeps going for 10 minutes. Okay. So where you are at the very beginning of the tunnels, you're not seeing anything immediately.
Okay. Before I cast it, I would actually say Asher would get to wherever like a blockage was. Like we
Okay,
would get,
so you'll
not right
you'll be
away.
trying to get in first. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
Sorry for the
No, that's
misunderstanding
fair. In that case, you make your way further into the tunnels.
there.
And you can see that these are very, very clearly being handled in ways to avoid causing trouble. You can see that there's some elven, what appear to be effectively like enchanted lights that have been set up to not risk any form of combustion if there are explosive gases nearby. They put out a relatively low amount of light, but it's enough to see by. And you would see that there still are workers in this shaft as well. Towards the very end, towards the blockage, that is where a majority of these guys are. They are currently trying to pull things out as carefully as possible. A foreman is very obviously watching the entire thing, trying to make sure that things are being done very safely. And you can see that the foreman, who is a dwarf, judging by his gray in his beard and hair, an older one at that, is taking this very, very seriously. He is making sure people are watching. He's making sure people are paying attention to what they're doing. He's making sure structural things are not being hit first and foremost. They're doing this job right. You can tell that for a fact. Which means, unfortunately for you, they're taking it extremely seriously, and you're not going to be able to get up close to that unless you find a way to get them away. But you can at least make your way closer to it. And making your way closer to it, you can tell that, yes, in the caved-in areas, there are things that have fallen to the ground and almost are kind of littering the ground itself. And they're larger objects than the small flakes and pieces that you were finding initially. Some of the shapes, they're not as large as the ones that you're finding back at the other location. Which you guys still don't know the name of, so I can't say it.
Yeah. At the forge.
Yeah. At the forge, you can call it that. I'll refer to it as that. But here, they seem to be shaped more than anything, and they seem to be signs of things that were once full assemblies of something and are now in pieces or have degraded over time. So there's very clearly stuff further in, but the issue is, of course, it's still covered in soil and rock. And most likely will be for a very long time.
I have an idea. Asha, how good are you at sensing all of the instances of a particular thing and also plotting out the positions? If you could sense something, say the wood that was used to help support the tunnels, then you could maybe map out where the tunnels might be without even having to uncover them. And using that, you could find where a central structure was.
I unfortunately do not have another use of this today. But Fizzy might be able to give us an idea of kind of what it looks like. If you give me a moment to kind of look at these supports, maybe I could give you an idea of specifically what to look for.
You're too far from your mic, buddy. We can't hear you.
Maybe.
All right.
I mean, that was literally like the first thing I said. So don't worry.
Yeah.
All right. Asher's gonna kind of take a look at the structure that is here. Does it look like it's all wooden, or was metal used to kind of prop this up at all?
A majority of the supports were.
Okay.
At this point, it has become petrified, but it is mostly wood that is being used for the support.
Okay. All right. Fizzy, it looks like most of this is the wood. It's actually not a bad idea from Tana. If you are able to get an idea, we can kind of see where everything is important and maybe try to go around a bit.
Using locate object, you attempt to find any locations where wood or petrified wood, either or would work, is being used. And you would get a general view of the supports that are being used in this area. And you can tell that there are larger spots further up ahead. And there are even spots where it looks like wood is traveling down in smaller strips, almost like it's some kind of an elevator or a ladder, maybe. But they are getting close to the very edge of your sight with the locate object. So they're basically much further in, much further past these caved-in sections.
Well, it's really deep in the cave.
Right. So we have going around.
Really,
But
you wouldn't spend all the time to fill in the entire system.
where?
Do you think this is like what we saw back the other place where just parts of it were covered up?
Most likely, my best guess is if they were to cut off the access, that is all that you would need to do. Strategically, that is all that makes sense. So, if we can find a way around the blockage, we would be able to go wherever it is we needed to go. Now, with the state of the wood, I am personally unsure about it and the sort of elevator. Seeing what the entire thing was made of, I'm doubting that anything substantial was used to keep it up, but some sort of access shaft with a ladder, it would make sense. Whatever it is that was actually important here is probably lower. Everything here was left. It is not of a huge important. And they're going to be spending way too much time trying to dig this out.
Do you think he had another one of those teleporting things?
Most likely, but there is no way to know. There is just no way to know what it is that all of the glyphs for that teleport pad would be. Wait.
Don't know much about it.
Don't we have a couple of animals that we can send to maybe see ahead of us?
I mean, we do.
So that we know what's in there before going in? So that we don't...
I mean, if you are...
Is
you're
Rod holding
Frog.
up Frog?
Alright, is Frog going to be a brave little cave ferret and see what is in there?
We make no promises, but he'll
Alright.
certainly go.
Alright.
We still need a way in there. Still blocked off.
See, maybe there's like holes or like weaker points or something. Rob might be able to see that.
Ferrets can also fit through quite small spaces. They're quite little.
True.
God's perfect killing machine.
It's so true.
The ferrets are to mammals as crabs are to crustaceans.
All right.
So are you going to send Frog in?
I believe we are going to send Frog in.
Throw dry.
No, sending Frog in like a hand grenade, apparently.
Mm-hmm. That's the only way to send in your cave ferret.
Pull a little tab off of the mask.
Like a drone out of fucking Rainbow Six. Just
Frog is going to need to make a stealth check.
He's just a little baby. He doesn't need a hard hat, I promise.
Doesn't need a hard hat, but he is still an animal going into the spot where
He
people
has
are
a hard
working.
hat already. He's got a little man.
He does have a
Can
hard hat.
I assist?
You can. What would you do?
Asher's gonna walk up to the foreman. And it's gonna be more baffled with bullshit. I think is the way that we're gonna approach this. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, it's gonna be more baffled with bullshit. But if you look at the actual wood itself, this does not match what he would normally have for his structures. Why would he do that instead of the one that they saw there was too much concrete. It was reinforced by the metal. And Asher is, as he's doing this, absent-mindedly playing with the Editremini sphere in his hand, turning it off and on, and just kind of moving it around.
So you were attempting to distract the man by effectively getting into a debate with him on whether or not it's actually accurate material.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Michelle?
I would like to bend down before Frog goes and poke him on the head and give him a little bit of guidance.
Okay. You cast guidance upon Frog.
Yes.
What does that mean for me?
Extra D4.
It means
Extra D4?
It means Frog has advantage and an additional D4 on the roll.
Stealth, right? Yes.
Yep.
Frog is gonna kill this.
Oh, that's not great.
That's an 18 though. That's pretty good.
Oh, it's not as bad as it could have been.
Yeah.
That's what we all do. We all help.
Yeah. This is what teamwork looks like.
Exactly.
So, beginning to distract the foreman, you send forward Frog into the caved-in section, past the laborers, trying to be as discreet as possible. And you would see that Frog probably would get a look out or two from like maybe one or two of the laborers who will note the small creature and kind of look down at it and not really think much of it. They just think, oh, it's a rodent. It's some kind of a creature that's just scuttling into the cave. Okay, whatever. And they look past it and just kind of ignore it. And so you send in Frog into these small cracks and crevices that only a creature about its size would be able to make its way into.
Middle.
Yep. And your familiar begins squirreling its way into these little openings. Is Rot looking through Frog's eyes?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I'm blind as fuck, boy.
So, to the eyes of Rot, this is an intensely claustrophobic and uncomfortable situation. You are looking at openings that are about this big at best, probably closer to this in some spaces. There is almost no room, and there is very many situations where Frog has to basically backpedal and twist over themselves to get back out of spots where it closes off completely.
Oh boy.
Frog, make me a acrobatics check.
Acrobatics. Oh, poor baby.
Just flat, just no.
If you're not trained in acrobatics, then it's just acrobatics.
Okay. Just normal.
I believe.
That's not bad considering he's a
ferret. He's doing a war dance.
Yeah. I hope he's not doing a war dance inside of there.
It's a big.
There are spots where even Frog begins to get stuck in these small openings, and has to pull himself back out, then try again, then change and adjust position multiple times. But eventually Frog does start to make its way out of this collapsed area. And at that point, it's pitch black. It is incredibly dark. Because if I recall correctly, Frog does not have dark vision. Frog does not have dark vision, but they can smell. The air here is old, musty, has not been touched for a very long time. There's still enough airflow for people to breathe, thankfully. But further and further, Rot sends in little Frog into this area until eventually Frog begins to blindly stumble their way into a spot where it feels like it dips down a little bit more. It starts to head downward more. Could I get a perception check from Frog?
I guess. Perception?
Yep.
Okay.
Look, you sent in this brave little toaster, and this is what he's got to do.
I love
Believe
the
in the
brave little
toaster?
toaster.
It's a great movie.
It's a great movie.
It's a dark movie.
It is a dark movie for what it's about.
I thought I laid down a 60 million on it.
You know,
Is-
at least Frog's rolling pretty average across the
I
board.
mean,
It's just a little
If
dry.
it's not sight based, you'd have advantage. It's
It is
during
site based.
Yeah.
Alright.
It is trying to pick up on stuff. Sending Frog in further and further, he would begin heading downwards more until it eventually starts to level off. Starts to get flat. And Frog cautiously begins scuttling its way closer and further and more inward. And the air doesn't change much, but it changes a little bit. It doesn't become fresher. It just gets a different odor to it. You're not sure how to describe it. But it reminds you of something almost chemical? Or like stuff that Asher keeps in his workshop, maybe? You're not sure how to really phrase it.
Stinky.
A little, yes.
Stinky.
And Frog begins to make their way forwards, scuttling and scampering in through the darkness, and they feel the ground go out beneath them as they take a few more steps.
No.
As they feel that the spot they have just walked into is just an open air, and they just
What do
fall.
If you can still see through his eyes, you can always summon him.
I want to pull my man out of there.
Okay.
I want to
As,
helicopter rescue him.
as Frog begins to fall, you resummon Frog.
Oh my gosh. That was really, really scary. It's dark. Smelled chemically, sort of like your workshop a little, Asher. Not really positive what's going on down there. There was a steep drop off somewhere. That Frog did in fact fall down. Can't see in the dark, this one. So that's really stale air, old air, big empty dark, well not empty, big dark room. So
All right. Okay. All right. Wait, but no. If you look at the way that this is put over, what about this one over here? Yeah, there's a good chance that we might need to head back to Descartes and kind of come up with a plan. I'm going to assume that Rot would be able to, with keen mind, be able to map exactly where the position was based off of the average travel time. So,
Yep.
Based off of all of this, we can kind of come up with a plan whether we are going to go in over the top or try to go around or something like that at another point. But with everybody here, I don't think it is smart for us to go knocking down walls.
No. Definitely not smart to knock down walls willy-nilly.
Trying to not just brute force our way through things.
Are they continuously working on the mine, even
Yeah.
at night?
That you don't know.
We can wait for evening to fall and get a better sense of what the nighttime crew looks like. Plus, if there are less people, because it would be easier for you to grab a couple of things.
What am I grabbing?
Whatever you want. All of the small stuff here, it is not of consequence to me. Plus, I hate to be the one to say this, but they're wasting their time. You are just wasting your time. Why are we trying to preserve something like this? This is not. This could have come from anyone. This could have come from anyone. Should we probably pull back now?
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to go and get the drawings and the information that I have, and I can prove it to you. This was not built by ttrpg. This was built by somebody else. He may have contracted with them, but this was not his work. I will prove it to you. And Asher is gonna fake smugly start walking away.
You guys begin making your way back out of the caves, or the mine shaft. Yep. Making your way out of mine shaft 1. You make your way back into the light of the day, and you can see that it all looks to be just like you left it.
Like, just as we left it, or like, because I'm assuming at least a little bit of time has passed.
Some time has definitely passed. It looks about the same.
Okay, good. All right. We'll make our way to, actually, what we'll do, kind of looking up and over, is it like directly into the mountain, or is there some like lower ground that we can walk over, or are we like going up?
It looks like this is basically going into a mountain.
Okay. All right. Is there just visually? Is there an easy way to kind of see where? Because we have an idea. We've at least walked the tunnel, so you can get at least a rough idea. Obviously, Rob would know the exact steps with keen mind. But can we get a sense of about where the blockage was, so that way we can kind of see where the pit was?
Yeah. So
Okay.
basically the blockage itself was basically where you guys started doing your various locate objects and familiar usage.
Yep.
Frog had to then go a good 1,000 feet past that point, and was able to go a little bit further in, maybe 500 to another 1,000 feet, at which point that was when there was a drop-off.
Okay. All right. Well, so what we have, we could realistically start kind of going down from that position. Maybe just a bit back. At least we know that we don't have to go directly on top of there. There should be a bit of a shaft, so that way we have a place to land.
Wait,
So-
what are you suggesting?
What I'm suggesting is, so we have two options. I think we should start with this. We should wait for nightfall. We should see what it is that they're doing at nighttime. Because if if we could just go in there and just go through where the blockage is, it would be a whole lot easier than trying to go down from over the top. But if we are not able to get into there, we would need to be up here and then come down to where the empty part is in the shaft itself and meet up with the pocket there. So that way we can continue on forward past where the blockage is.
Do you think they have a topographical map of the area?
I know that they were drawing the one. We can always see if they have a topographical map. That is hard to say in this accent.
If Rob is able to estimate the path that the mine shaft takes, you might find a place that is a lot easier to get to, a lot less distance above it.
Where might be able to. What was that, Fizzy?
What does topographical mean?
Oh, topographical, it has to do with, it shows all of the peaks and the valleys, all of what the land looks like. It shows you all of the various obstacles.
It's the elevation over a place.
Izzy, imagine if you were a bird and looking down, you could see the heights of everything.
Okay, so bird map. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, bird map.
And the different lines on it don't correspond to anything like rivers or other structures on normal maps, but the changes in the elevation. So if lines are a lot closer together, it's a lot steeper of a place.
Gonna be real honest with you, when you start like explaining that, Fizzy's eyes kind of glaze over because she's like, bird map. All she needs.
All right, we're going to go see if they have a bird map.
Sometimes you have to come up with a simple solution that Fizzy can relate to what she knows.
Yeah.
She knows birds.
All right, so we go see if they have a bird map.
Gotcha. Making your way back over to the two fellows there, Jean-Francois and Miguel. Miguel, sorry. You will see that they are still basically like talking over the way that the further uncovering needs to be handled. On their table, you don't see any signs of a topographic map.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like majority of the mapping is trying to figure out the layout of the actual caves themselves.
The mines themselves. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have any topographic maps that you're immediately seeing.
Okay. Asher is gonna whisper, Ruth, would you be able to just make a mental note of that and write down the map that they already have? That way we have a copy of it. Thank you, my friend.
Let's do a little peek.
Okay. Peering over at the map, you get a general idea of what the layout looks like. And it's about what you guys already expected. There are blockages. It's going to take a lot of time for them to do so carefully and to get past it carefully. The only way that you guys will be able to do it the way you want to will mean you have to either go down or find a way to get past it without risking caving, basically.
Mm-hmm. All right. In that case, it seems like best course of action, at least to me anyway, is to wait and see what the night shift looks like. Because if we can go through, we'll just a big enough hole that we can make it through, not risk a cave in. It seems like it'll probably be the quickest option. At least in my head, that's how that works.
Are there sources of water nearby?
I mean, there is the ocean, but that doesn't really flow inward at any points. There may be some water sources further up high on the mountain itself, or at least spots where water would flow downwards.
With all cave systems, sometimes the water will break its way in, and then you have places where air bubbles are rising up out of the water. It lets you know something's down there, but you don't know exactly how deep.
So, while you guys are discussing this, you would see that several laborers are beginning to make their way out from other shafts that are present here. Numerous, a good number of them appear to be pretty worn out. But at least one of them does appear to be someone that you would recognize. And they appear to be a very tall, blonde-haired woman who appears to be quite muscular.
Oh god, no!
Hey Connor. My curiosity, is this lovely woman, her name started with a V, and was recently given flowers with a painting in it?
It does appear to be Vera, yes.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Taz hiding? Is Taz spotting placed her eyes on
I'm gonna see perception if she notices it at first. If she does, she's gonna start hiding.
I can
Okay.
hear the rising panic as Connor was describing.
Good perception. Hate this. She can't say shit.
Eris's passive perception is pretty high.
Oh,
Like
it is. It's like an 18.
18, so.
If I
It's
remember
her
right.
and Fizzy. Her and Fizzy both have 18s. So.
Yeah. So it's like, huh. Well, I still have a bet to win.
Oh no, Fizzy just like waves very widely, goes like this. Hi.
Oh,
However-
have we seen her?
Yeah. As much as I would like to watch this clusterfuck, I need to step away. And Darius is gonna head back to the cart.
Alright.
Anyone who wants to follow is welcome to, but she's not gonna say what it is outright.
What time are we gonna scout the night shift?
We have at least a few hours. We got there pretty early, right?
Yeah, so I didn't change the time. My mistake.
Oh.
Right, you're good.
That's on me.
I thought it was like 9 p.m. already.
Nope, that was my bad. It was left on 9 p.m., but I forgot to change the time. That's why it was on 9 p.m. There we go. Yeah, you would have gotten here fairly early. So if you guys were to guess, this was an early shift that went in and is now coming out.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, one of them is very clearly Vera. And Vera will note Fizzy waving
Oh,
at you all aggressively. And she will begin to make her way over towards you guys.
Making our way.
And Kaz is looking off in the wrong direction.
Rot is elbowing Kaz, like,
What? I'm trying to hold He's biting me right now. I think he wants something.
Rot will reach out and turn Ruben's head towards Vera.
Ruben! You gotta stop. We can't eat right now.
Oh, Ruben's caught on.
Staring.
I think he likes her. I think you both have great taste.
What do you mean by that?
I'll confirm Kaz's head as well.
Oh boy. Okay, that's not.
Trapped underground with her.
Oh. Oh god.
I didn't really expect to see you all here.
Bonjour.
Could say the same for you.
Oh, I was contracted to assist. The South Acadian government is assisting an archaeological team that the North Acadian government is also assisting with. It's a joint project to show that we are still at peace. Or something.
Or something. Indeed. Do they know what they are looking for here? Or is it they're just digging?
It's an archaeological.
See, I'm not the only one that is struggling to say the word. Sorry, I was struggling to say it earlier. It's weird to say in common.
Well, it's lovely to see you.
You too. Yeah.
She like elbows Kaz to like shove her forward a little bit.
Oh god.
Izzy's like slowly like making her way behind Kaz. As this is all happening, she's like slowly reaching back.
It's polite to say hello.
I don't. I'm not gonna say something.
Kaz is very happy to see you as well. She's a little tongue-tied.
It's nice to see you too, Kaz.
It's nice to see you, Vera.
Hello, Mr. Monkey. But I still didn't expect to see you all here.
Oh, we were in town.
We're just currently following up on some leads.
Oh, that's nice.
Where? Some of the usual stuff.
Thank you for the gift, Kaz.
Oh. Oh. Oh god.
It's at this point that Tana will walk away because she doesn't want Kaz to be mad at her.
Oh
Like-
boy.
I'll get you a bit of food from the cart and you can continue talking.
I'm gonna die today. It's not a pleasant one either.
Well, the flowers were nice, and the painting was impressive. I didn't realize you could do that.
What painting, Vera? I don't necessarily remember dropping off a painting.
There was one with the flowers.
The
I know
flowers.
someone who is very good at painting.
It's already gone.
Kaz,
I'm
that
just
is
like-
Kaz, it is the one you had commissioned, no?
Yes.
Wait, the
Yeah.
one that you had commissioned. Well, we
You
ran
guys-
across
yeah.
an individual that it was absolutely exquisite. In it, they were an art appraiser themselves, and we were just having a conversation about the people that we have run into. They were doing a life study, and Kaz it just was just like, I know something and someone that you can paint.
Yeah, we could go with that.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I remember.
Sorry,
it was
Kaz's brain is a little scrambled. She's got a bit of the cave madness. Just a bit.
Yeah, yeah.
we
just
were
a bit of-
down in there for a bit.
We were in there.
Yeah, I've been up since midnight. So, that's fair.
midnight. Wow.
I'm working one of the earlier shifts.
How many shifts are there?
3.
3. So it is
Working
round the
round
clock.
Yes.
They're quite serious about this for not knowing what it is that they're looking for.
Well, it's an archaeological dig. They're taking it seriously.
Wait, but it's not like where they're looking for enemy forces or something like that. It is an archaeological dig. The things are not just going to get up and walk away.
They won't, no.
No.
But they could be stolen, I suppose.
Who is going to just come in here and steal the... Who even knows that this is going on?
Ruben is just giving you the blankest stare right now.
Literally us looking to steal from the dig site. Who would do that?
Who would do that? Just absurd. Absolutely absurd.
I don't really know, but I can understand why.
Besides, if it is a new dig site, what is even supposed to be down there?
I don't know.
You haven't seen anything yet.
Well, no, we have seen things.
Like what?
Remains of what look to be like minecarts, picks, stuff like that. A lot of them appear to be fairly damaged, but they're sturdy. A lot of it appears to be stuff that may have been left behind.
I had heard a rumor from the foreman here that it is believed to be around the time of the schism.
It's very old, I think.
All right. Okay. Well.
But I think honestly this is going to take a long time. I don't think they'll keep us around for the entire time. They're most likely going to start rotating laborers.
Of course.
But I honestly think this could easily take a full season.
Wow. This is a long time, even with a full round-the-clock crew.
Yes, that's what we do.
All right.
I typically perform labor work like this. Yeah.
Asher's gonna insight that.
Sure.
Ooh. That is a 19 on the die. What is my insight? 3 for... was that 22?
22?
Yeah.
She is telling the truth. She does basically this kind of labor work all the time. It is her primary method of making money.
Okay.
So this is very much just her day job, basically.
Okay. I just want to make sure there wasn't like something else like that she was just kind of trying to purposefully leave off, because it almost sounded like that.
No, she normally does this kind of work, and basically, like if she was to work like a normal labor job like this, there's a pretty good chance that like she will go a few weeks without having to take jobs because the pay from the previous job lasts quite a while, and then she goes back in. It's basically like a few months in, a few months out, a few months in, a few months out.
Alright. What? Where is it you were staying at? If you, while we are here, if you want to spend the night in the cart, you're more than welcome to. I'm sure Kaz would be more than willing to make sure that you are put up in a comfortable bed. Also, I do believe the food in the cart is much better than what they have here.
Is Cass just in the background shaking her head?
Yes.
It probably is. The government rations are.
They're
okay.
gross. They're gross.
No, they're okay. I've had worse, and I'm just staying in a cart right now.
That is depressing.
There's also proper ways to get all cleaned up. Relax.
It is normal cave dust. It is.
Yeah.
It is the normal smell that one would expect. Shall we?
Sure, I can tag along with you guys.
Fantastic. Tell me, do you have a preference for tea, coffee, maybe something a little bit stronger? As they're walking towards the cart, Asher's just trying to get her drink orders.
I need to let you guys know. Kaz is speed walking.
For Kaz, that is very fast. It's like zoom.
Kaz's speed walk averages about 10 miles per hour.
Full movement.
I don't think I will ever get used to this. Is why I'm constantly having to repair her shoes. She's just blowing through them at such a quick pace.
As you guys are beginning to make your way back to the cart, you will notice that a little ways away from the mining area, you'll see a dot appears floating in midair, which then splits and becomes a line, and then splits and becomes a plane, then splits and becomes a cube, and then it returns back to the small dot, and you will see that there are now 4 people standing there. With that said, Darius, you were doing something?
Fuck.
Open up my veins.
What are you doing and how much are you giving out?
I'm trying to get the spell Meld into Stone. The 3rd level spell that I have access to.
Cool. How much are you giving up?
31 hit points.
Make a treat. Make it 34.
Okay.
Eat some worm.
So, we're doing 34 hit points.
Okay.
Cool.
If a bird flies in through a window and hits you, and that's how you die.
Because like I did mention that I was like behind gas. I would have probably just started walking to the cart at that point. Like I wouldn't have been there for like all the conversation.
I wasn't there for any of the conversation at all.
I know, but I would have been like 2 minutes behind you. Is what I'm saying.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You'll probably walk into her going,
yeah, basically.
There's trips walking back to her room and dies.
Whack right on the step.
you
At
little
least
babe.
Rizzy is there, and there are med kits in the thing, and Rizzy can keep you from dying.
Yeah,
So
also-
Darius knew she wasn't alone.
you make a spell modifier check, please. That should be your intelligence plus proficiency.
Yeah, so it's a +7.
Yep.
I'm just rolling
Do it!
D20 on here. Add 7, so 21.
21. You see that the book appears to understand what you're asking for, but you will see that the ball of blood that you have created does not begin going into the book, as it is still not enough.
Cool.
What are you doing?
Do you have some blood to spare?
What are you doing? What are you trying to get?
There's a spell called Meld into Stone.
I
And
know
it
I
lasts-
can do it.
Oh, damn it. Should have known.
Go back in.
Well, I guess this is a good time to get a different spell.
Just put the cut over.
20 in.
Cool.
Figure out-
Let me look at a different 3rd level spell that I've been considering so I can tell Connor what it is.
Sure.
But I gotta remember the exact name.
Yeah, a physically can do melted to stone. I think I actually do. I have it. No, I don't have it.
You don't have
By
it.
the way,
Nah,
Jess,
but I-
here's what
but I
you
can-
here's what you missed before you got here.
What did I miss? Why do we have sound effects?
Discord
can do that
added it in.
now. That's
Oh,
Discord's
God.
fault.
Cool. I'll
is-
ask this.
This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one that I added.
I will ask before I learn this spell. Because I need to make sure. You don't have water breathing, do you?
I do.
No spells for
He's a
you.
druid.
I don't know what spells fucking druids had. Do I look like I know a druid?
Yeah, he also
If
can
it's-
know water breathing.
If it's like an elemental thing, chances are I can do it. Like the only one I cannot do is fireball. But like most
Fireball.
elemental things I can do. I'm so sorry, but like
Alright, the other 3rd level spells I had in my list, I just have to pull them out. We already took. Alright, I know which one it is. And it's one you can't take.
You're like, can druids fucking do this spell?
I know you can't.
What is it? What is it? Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure because it's an original spell from this fucking class, motherfucker.
That's the one you should be taking.
I'm taking Seance, Connor.
What
I
is
will
that?
give-
Third or second?
It's a 3rd level. Rudy,
Okay.
and fuck, Rudy? No.
Rudy!
Wrong
Rudy is
character.
not here.
I'm in a lot of pain, to be fair.
Rudy, 2D points.
That's fair.
Fizzy.
Yeah. So you have attempted to put in 54 points. It is still not enough.
Jesus fuck. I have some health potions.
Also spells of healing.
Yeah, should we?
Okay. She just turns
Okay.
into stars before. She turns into stars so that she can make it easier. And I'll give you 2d8 and then I'll heal myself for d8. So I'll
Okay.
give-
I also feel the need to ask, has Tana showed up at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Tana, you are seeing us bleed onto this book heavily.
So you heal for 13 and I heal for 11.
Cool, I'm putting 12 in.
Like shove a plate in. Just
I'm just gonna
eating.
I'm gonna pull the full 11 that I heal for in there.
Just
Okay.
keep eating so you don't end up with an iron deficiency.
I will.
All right. So how much have you put in now? 54 plus 11 plus how much?
12.
12.
12.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait, that means I need to put myself up to 2 hit points.
77.
That's 77. At this point, it will be enough for the full spell.
Jeez.
I rolled a 21 and it still took that many hit points.
And then I'm going to heal you again.
Okay.
For more. I'm gonna do 3d8 this time. 8, 11, so 12, 17 points of healing.
Cool.
And I will give myself 8. That's fine.
How much magic paper do I need to use to inscribe this in my book? It's a 3rd level spell.
It'd be 150 gold
150. Yeah.
I have
And it'll take
100.
6 hours.
I have 100 magic paper, but I also have 3 blank spell scrolls.
It's different paper, isn't it?
It's different. It's entirely different.
Yeah.
Damn it!
Sorry.
I did all this work for the spell.
Just don't bleed on the book again, either. It'll stay. Right? Until the next person bleeds?
Just don't bleed on the book.
Just don't bleed on the book yet.
Just don't do
Or
anything
just
to
let
the book.
Rot look at it.
Oh yeah, Rot can memorize spells.
Yeah, Rock can just fucking
Photocopy.
memorize the spell. That also works.
Photocopy it. Put it on paper.
That works.
A nerd photocopy.
Yeah.
Nerdo copy?
I have a reason for wanting the spell. I didn't expect fucking Fizzy to already have meld into stone.
Pretty much all elemental spells I can do. Like
I don't know how druids work. Let's be real here.
Druid's nature.
That's not enough.
Can't do fireball, which is fucking funny, but
But the thing is, Seance is still good for us because there are people who are dead we need to talk to. Hey, what if we could summon
Gemini.
Trimini?
Hey,
Abba?
Abba?
With
Anyway, I'm gonna go lay down because I feel a little lightheaded now.
I'm gonna... And Darius is gonna hold the earpiece and go, "Hey, Rot,
Yes?
I need your help.
I'm afraid to ask with what?
I'm 50 gold pages short. I need you to come memorize this."
Just close the book, it'll stay there, I'll get it later.
Okay.
Rod has homework. I need you to memorize this.
And then she'll go, "But I have great news for all of you. I can talk to pretty much anyone who's dead.
Great.
No body needed."
what
Right.
it'd be interesting to. You know, I don't actually know if a Determini is dead or not.
I mean, this will confirm it. I can't summon a living person
We could also talk to that missing wizard as well. If he's dead.
if he's dead.
And see if the people that are actually wanting the Veya's estate.
We could also summon Roy if we were truly desperate.
Roy, who killed you?
Roy, who killed you? He tells us, we know!
That's so funny.
Why would you wake me up? You fucked up, man. Shouldn't have died.
Oh my god.
Can we summon him infinite amounts of time?
Literally, Asher just goes, "Wait, Monsieur,
No.
I outlived you, bitch," and then just let him go.
No, Asher, you have to summon him after Asher marries my. Just like shows the ring and then dismisses the spell early.
Guess what? Bye.
That was really funny, actually. Okay. So, at this point, we will go back to the folks who were outside of the cart. Garrus and Fizzy, you're on the cart. So is Tana, which leaves Asher, Kaz, Granny, and Rot. You guys are still outside of the cart itself. Hold on. Don't need jazz for this.
Maybe we do.
No. You'll see, stepping out from this odd box, which then returned back to a plane, which then turned back into a line, which then turned back into a dot. There are 4 individuals. One appears to be a scrawnier looking man, slightly tan skin, with bright blue eyes, like solid blue. He looks to be the man who is in charge of the entire situation. And judging by what he's wearing, looks to be maybe some kind of a spellcaster. He has some bangles around his wrists. He's wearing a sleeveless robe, and has what looks to be a book holder that's strung around his chest, and then has a book near his hip. He appears to be less than interested in this current situation. Behind him, there are 3 others. There's a man who has what looks to be a very long great bow that's currently just kind of slung over it's just kind of hanging over his shoulder, and he's just hanging his arms let down over it. It's not currently slung all the way. It's not currently ready to be used, but he also seems disinterested in the situation. The fellow looks to be maybe about 5'8", fairly stocky, pretty badly scarred on his face, down at the lower section of it. Maybe like quarter elf, you know. And then there appears to be a large, bulky Goliath-looking fellow near him. The large Goliath is simply standing there, hands crossed in front of him. He has what looks to be 2 very large swords that are slung over his back. He looks disinterested, but polite, given the circumstances. The 4th person, though, is a man wearing what appears to be a black duster. And this fellow has what is very clearly a gun slung on right near his ribs right here. This guy looks young. Maybe 20. He looks to be 5'6". Really skinny looking guy, almost emaciated. And he has a somewhat crazed look in his eyes. And you would note that there is a slight movement to him where he almost kind of lifts his head up a little bit, like he's sniffing the air like a dog does.
I gotta go. Right now. Where? How far away did they appear from us?
Maybe 50 feet.
If you are visibly, like, uncomfortable by this, Rot will body block you.
Yeah, she's just going to kind of not run in case they haven't seen her, but she's gonna very obviously pick up her pace and like dart for the cart.
You will see that the small man, the small young man, kind of turns and looks at the spellcaster, and you'll see the spellcaster has pulled out a pocket watch and he holds it up. He slipped it open. He holds it up. He shows him the time, and he says 5 minutes. Closes the clock back up. He crosses his arms and waits.
Like that? I don't know. No 5 minutes. I
don't know what to say, but
And the small young man will make his way up over near your cart, kind of in this slinking motion, and he'll look up at you and go, "Can Aoife come out to play?"
It's gone. Here, see? Look, the chair's empty. It's gone. She died.
So he went to the cart. Is he facing the cart like he's...
He's looking at the cart and anyone who has not yet entered the cart.
Okay, she stopped moving towards the cart. Just like...
People inside the cart, can we see this? Izzy's kind of like...
There are windows that you can see out of. Yeah, we're not trying to hide our location from anybody in the cart.
Okay.
Yeah, Granny will very softly over the earpiece be like, those guys who scared us in the last town, they're here. Asking for me. Outside the cart, I mean.
What do we do then?
I don't know. Hide? I'm going.
Pretty dives into a bush.
Basically.
Is Scott here? You know what?
He just left.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
It's good. It was funny. What are you going to do?
Do not eat those ones.
I don't eat the grape ones. You can have them.
She's, Granny's retreating. She's backing off and kind of, I guess, looking for the closest hide.
Okay, Granny, you can make a stealth check.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh boy.
Can I offer help?
Sure. You can
Ra
offer
is-
assistance.
Okay.
That's a 19 on the die. My stealth. Plus 3, so 22. I'll roll an advantage to see if I crit, which I do not. So 23. No, 20.
22.
22. 2-2.
You will see the young man is kind of looking around, trying to get eyes on Granny somewhere. The folks who are not in the carts, what are you guys doing?
I took out my parasol just to shield a little bit, but not like it seems suspicious, like she's spinning the parasol in front of her, like casually sort of thing. Just to discreetly cover Granny's face at all.
Okay.
Asher is just kind of carrying on having the conversation and kind of clocking everybody. Kind of in the usual Asher way, making a little bit of a show of it to make it look like everything's normal. So really just trying to stay as normal as possible, walking towards the cart.
I don't know what Rod's doing. I'm gonna be so real with you right now. I'll be so honest with you.
That's fine.
Fair.
He could be frozen in deer in the headlights. If you...
Yeah. Pretty much. Under the mask, you can't really see Rod's eyes, because I like to imagine there's like some sort of spooky eye thing where you can't see the eyes, whatever.
Yeah.
Rod's eyes are going like to where Granny's hiding, like is she okay? Is everything okay? Oh god.
Okay. With no one answering him, you watch as the young man reaches out and pulls out the gun. And you can see very quickly, this is a very unusual looking sidearm. It is long-barreled, about yay big, with a small extension to the spot where the barrel will come out, and there's almost like this little like a catch system to the very tip of it. And you can also see that the front of it has a slight raise. It's got this beautiful golden trim on it with slight maze-like patterning all along it. There is no scope, but there's also no spot where you can see bullets to be loaded in, save for a single gate on the side of it, where you could push in bullets. That's it.
Does Asher recognize it at all?
You can roll Knowledge Arcana.
Do I recognize it?
You can roll Knowledge Arcana.
From
I don't
the
think I'd
far
recognize
distance where I am very far away. No, I'm not going to recognize it. I rolled a 9 on the die.
That's a 25 from Asher.
You know of guns. You have never seen a gun made like this.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't match any designs you have ever seen. There are no real maker marks that you recognize on it. And just judging by the general shape of it, it has to be something magical.
Nobody made this. This was a gift.
Almost certainly. You're not sure who could make this. You'd have to be a genius artificer and a good enchanter.
Let's put this as snap guess, because this is how Asher really goes after firearms. Is that something his mom would make, or is it beyond what her skill is?
It is well beyond her skill.
Okay. So this looks less like a gun and more like a magical focus.
Maybe.
Yep.
And Anna rush out of the cart.
You may.
He'll be holding the jar of pickled plums, which she had on her already, but that was her excuse to go back to the cart. And just bring it over to Vera and say, well, why don't you have one of these? They're really good. And then she'll turn to the new individual and say, oh, are you also one of the people working at the site?
No, I'm looking for Eva.
Oh, well, can you get a name yourself? It's a bit impolite to be asking for someone without introducing yourself first.
I am Weston Dove.
Weston Dove. I'm just typing down in notes.
West End of what?
God. Oh, I'm in so much danger.
It's okay, Granny.
Just
Is
stay
that
in
name
your bush.
familiar?
It'll be okay.
To you, no. You would not recognize the name Weston Dove.
Well, you can call me Tana. Is
That's
there a
nice.
reason you're looking for this person?
Yes.
Oh, do tell.
I want to shoot her.
Now, why would you
Right.
want to do something like that?
He kind of gives you a look like you just asked a really dumb question. like the question you asked him just doesn't make sense. Where is she?
What would you do if people were protecting her?
I can start breaking things if I need to. I know you're around here. I know you're here somewhere. Mr. Irons' card is here. So are the rest of your friends. I see them. I recognize them. So is the monkey. Hi, monkey. He kind of gives a little wave to Ruben, who Ruben now is kind of like staring dead at this man, like with daggers.
Aw, Ruben, we're friends.
Because I was in the cart, but I'm assuming Tana has opened the door to the cart because Tana was in the cart.
Well, she's already left the cart, but
the cart door was opened, yeah.
While this is all happening, Ra is plotting in his little head, and Ra is gonna really casually, without like making a big fuss about anything, walk into the cart, grab the displacer chest, and walk around to the back side of the cart out of view of West and Dove. Like, Ra's just like carrying it, like, we're going to this mining thing and we need to bring our chest of supplies out and you know.
I will have you just roll me a performance check.
Performance check. Ra is shitting his pants.
A fair thing to be doing.
Yeah, performance.
Maximum pants shitting.
This isn't gonna be great.
No, it's not.
I believe.
Please.
The dice tell the story.
The dice certainly do.
They do tell the story, and the story's not great.
Rod actually shits himself. I can't fucking believe it.
That is a 0.
I have an
So
idea.
does Rot trip face fucking first and bash?
You're gonna make him fucking vomit coke.
Just.
Okay. I also have a better idea.
Okay. Well, before we get to your weird idea.
Fine, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's because someone rolled a natural 1, dude.
yeah.
Rots, you attempt to, as casually as possible, whistling as you go, carry this cart out. Just try to make your way out as fast as possible. And you watch that one of Weston's eyes has begun tracking you while the other one's dead ahead on Asher.
What the fuck?
I don't know what to do with this now. I do what you need. I don't. Rod's just gonna keep going.
Okay. You keep going. You set the cart. You set the chest down behind the cart. Where are you, Aoife?
Michelle, you wanted to try something?
No, because I thought it doesn't do the thing I thought it did. So hold on.
I have something. Tana wants to do some threat assessment.
Threat assessment. Okay.
And so she's going to say...
assessment. Bad.
So you're saying try to go with a firearm? How about this? I'm going to stand a ways away, and I want you to try to shoot me with that.
No.
And if you can hit me and hurt me pretty bad, I'll tell you where I last saw her. And if you can't, well, you live peacefully. Does that sound like a deal?
No. But I think I could use you as an example.
I have. If he shoots my comrade, I am going to react. Just.
I could start with this one, Aoife.
I scared that you're gonna miss.
No. Yes, Jess.
How long's it been since he arrived?
Yeah, I would say it's been a handful of minutes so far. Because bear in mind, a lot of this stuff has been kind of happening at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So he's only got a couple of minutes left.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yep, 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If he points his gun at anyone, I'm going to shoot.
Okay.
The thing.
But if he's just talking about shooting, I'm not doing anything. But if he raises his gun, that's my reaction.
At this point, I think Weston will finally make a roll to try and spot you.
We'll say by this point I have like made my way to the door.
That's so much better than I could do.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Holding.
Is
First I have to do my
Ash-
D6 roll thing. Hold on.
Yeah, do your D6 roll. Asher has a thing that he's gonna.
It's an
typically
odd.
do.
It's an odd. So
Mhm.
that's bad. So it's a bad thing. So I can actually throw in
Tell me the number.
6.
6? What did you get on your stealth check again, Granny?
22.
It was 22.
Okay.
Because she rolled a 19 on the die plus 3.
Barely.
And then what did Asher want to do?
So Asher is gonna he's waiting for a moment. We're waiting for a trigger. If this guy goes to make a shot, if he starts bringing the gun like up to shoot, Asher is going to cast heat metal from the ring and try to do it very discreetly. Because Asher's still just kind of pretending like none of this is happening and is walking towards the cart, still having the conversation about drinks and food.
Weston is going to start raising his gun up.
Alright.
Okay, but heat metal. Asher's gonna try and do it. He's gonna try and do it stealthily though.
Okay.
I'm still. Do I get advantage?
You do have advantage.
Okay, and I'm putting a grit point in to try and, make him drop his weapon.
Yep. And
15.
Asher, you make a sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, Asher.
What's 19 plus 8? 27?
27 to hit.
Sleight of hand from Asher of a 26.
26, okay.
Mm-hmm.
His passive is passive 10 plus modifier or
10 plus
is it
modifier,
8
yes.
modifier?
Yeah.
Okay. His passive is high enough to hit that.
Oh.
Jesus.
Why?
Yeah, it is a plus 12.
No, plus 18.
What?
Yeah!
Look at
Thanks, Phil.
the roll.
Him.
It's 6 plus 12.
Jesus.
Disarming shot. Does the 27 hit at least?
Yeah, absolutely, it hits.
Okay.
Because
And Jill?
In the second that this is all happening, I assume since Asher was talking with, I assume Vera, Rot will try to pull Vera behind the cart and out of harm's way.
That
as
is
things begin to pop off.
Gotcha. You immediately
Asher is
grab hold
joining in that endeavor because
Mhm.
he's got the spell. The spell's on. He's got him locked, and clearly he saw. So we're hiding.
If
Can
Rot
you-
is also gonna help Vera
Yep.
move out of harm's, I would also assist on that.
Yeah, you guys
as
are
well.
basically trying to get Vera out of harm's way immediately.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's what
helping
you three are
Granny, but
doing.
it's Wild West.
What is the save versus a disarm?
It is a strength saving throw against my DC, which is 8 plus proficiency dex. 14, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 plus. But he still takes damage. He takes normal damage.
He will take damage, yes.
Where's my T10? 6 total piercing.
Okay. You fire one shot at him, which will glance off of his gun. A small bit of shrapnel cutting his hand. Asher, there is no save for.
No.
no, you can save to drop it and not take the damage.
Yep. It's a Constitution saving throw.
Or you can choose to not try to drop it and just take the damage.
I'm just rolling d8s then.
Metal, my beloved.
Heat metal's brutal. I will
Yes.
say
So
that.
good.
Yes.
That's why
And
it's
you-
in the ring.
You have
Yeah.
disadvantage on attacks while you have something on your person that is heat
Mhm.
metal.
So, Granny, you fire off a shot at this man, and it glances off his gun. While Asher casts heat metal on the gun. Please roll the damage for it. He will not drop this gun.
Okay. All right. Let me get my d8s. That
As
is
the item has a
Holy-
special ability called My Cold Dead Hands.
fucking Asher Irons. That's 16 fire damage.
Cool.
Yeah. And for flavor, when she did say she was hiding in a bush, she the smoke trailing out of her gun. She's standing now.
Was he
Because,
actually going to shoot at Tana?
No.
Doesn't matter. She wasn't taking the chance.
He was simply raising the gun out.
Alright.
And there is a brief moment where you see that when Asher casts a spell, he starts tracking Asher. And then Granny shoots.
Yeah.
And then he flicks his head over to you.
What do you want?
I wanted you. Of course.
Why?
Well, I want to have a little fun. I want to see how you measure up after these years.
Not well. Go.
Tell your friend to drop his spell, or I will kill him.
Asher.
Asher's still like moving. We're hiding.
Yeah, hide, but drop the
No.
spell. Ash.
He needs to pick.
Pick
TikTok.
me.
Yes, Darius?
Can I do something extra dumb?
Sure.
Jill's look should tell you how dumb it is.
Oh no.
Darius is stepping out of the cart, walking past all of this and walking to the other 3 that showed up with him.
That's
An
fine.
interesting decision.
I didn't say it was smart. I rolled a 2 on my check to see if she would have the
God.
common sense.
Just a reminder, Darius has bad health right now.
Yeah, you look awful.
She's
Yeah,
not
you are-
bleeding.
Anymore.
Anymore? You are still bloodied.
You were a second from passing out
I don't
earlier.
think I'm bloodied anymore.
That's not.
Yeah,
Your
I'm
full
not
health
bloodied
is
anymore.
me bloodied.
You are 3 hit points
Look.
from being bloodied.
I'm playing the character. Leave me be.
This
I
is
respect
true.
it. Do as you will.
I will give him 5 seconds.
Asher,
4,
please drop it
3, 2.
now.
I'm bored. Drops it. I will say Asher tried to hold it long enough to where he was going to get another hit off basically from the roll. Because we gave him 5 seconds and there was all that talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead and do that. That is... Oh, that's not the right die. 13.
You will take it. Darius, you've walked over to the other 3 individuals, and you will see that the Goliath and the somewhat elfish man will kind of like turn their heads to you. Meanwhile, the other man is still kind of paying attention to his pocket watch and appears to be on a bit of a time crunch.
You're watching that clock awful closely.
I am.
Do you think you're gonna meet your goal within that 5 minutes?
No, I think I'll just waste some time.
Are you only letting him go ahead and then striking? Or do you need to be somewhere else?
No, I have a time limit. I have things I need to do. I have a schedule. There's an allowance for how far above schedule I can go.
But do you got a schedule?
Yes.
You after other people beyond our friend?
He'll look directly at you now, and you'll realize his eyes are solid blue. And he'll just look at you and go, "I'm not after anyone. I don't even know who you are." He'll go back to looking at his clock.
Ah. These are other passengers. You're a teleport service.
No,
Then what are you?
I'm busy.
And she'll look at the other 2. So are you 2 with him or with him?
They will both look at in tandem. Go, "We're with him," and look at and gesture towards the man with the blue eyes.
Are you just watching some guy try to kill an old woman?
They'll both shrug.
Fair enough. How much time's left on that?
I think enough for him.
And Deos will turn. And as her actual action, she'll look at this guy, watch him, and go, "Granny, shoot for his left, it's weak," and I'm gonna use predictive intuition.
Okay.
Which, next time he attacks, means I get to subtract a d4.
Okay, very cool.
But Darius will stay in front of the guy with the blue eyes and watch.
Eva,
Yes.
do you know why I'm here?
You wanna shoot me?
No. I want to duel you. I want to see how sharp those teeth still are.
Don't you know I've been retired from that for 40 years?
You can be as retired as you want to be. It doesn't change a single thing. You're still the same woman you were.
If you If I was, would I still be? Would I be going by Aoife? Don't you know my actual name?
No.
Then how'd you hear about me?
Oh, I didn't hear about you. I just kept a nose out.
What, are you smelling danger?
He'll kind of lay his hand on the handle of the gun a little bit, and he'll go, in a way. And he'll start to see that there are now trails of smoke kind of coming from him. And from what you're seeing, there must be easily 100. Just these trails of smoke that drift upwards into the air.
Neat trick.
Anyone who is watching will notice that they're also coming from Granny.
Oh.
There are about 63 of them.
This is normal.
I don't remember. Normally, when I smoke, it's with a cigar. All right, a duel. One shot. Only one.
One shot will be fine. I think it'll give me a taste of what you can become again. Be shame to pluck underripe fruit, after all.
I'm probably more accurately overripe, but just how age works. Anyway, okay.
He will walk away, giving you about 50 foot's pace. He'll crack his neck to the left and then to the right. And then he'll take off his duster and he'll set it down to the ground. And you'll see he's wearing a very plain shirt with some suspenders, sleeves rolled up, and a holster that's very visibly on near his ribcage. Now, you're out of practice. I'll give you a little handicap. And he puts his thumbs up behind his suspender straps. Becca.
Yeah.
Let's quickly go over the rules to a duel.
All right.
It's time to duel.
So, first and foremost, both individuals get a number of d6 they may roll equal to their proficiency modifier. You would have 3. Okay? So you have 3d6. You are both gunslingers, so you will get an additional d6 each. You have 4d6.
Start pulling out all my d6.
Or you can just roll it digitally, dear.
Fine.
That's what I'm going to do.
I use such pretty dice. Yeah, that makes more sense.
They're so shiny. Now, we will have to determine how you're going to shoot. You can go aggressively, defensively, or reactively. Aggressive duelists are good against... Let me see. Aggressive duelists are good against defensive duelists. Defensive duelists are good against reactive duelists. And reactive duelists are good against aggressive duelists. It's rock, paper, scissors. So, what will happen is you and I will, on the count of 3, put up 1 hand, 2 fingers, or 3 fingers. 1 is aggressive, 2 is defensive, 3 is reactive.
What happens if we choose the same thing?
If we tie, then at that point, the subtraction that would happen from losing doesn't happen. Because if you lose, you will lose a d6.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think I get it.
So
Could I
Yeah.
possibly insight to see what he would most likely do?
you absolutely may.
Do you remember?
It's a 15 on the die plus 5, so dirty 20.
Dirty 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me roll for Weston.
Before we do this, we'll have to remind me the numbers again. Or
Hey,
put it in
Connor.
the chat.
I'll be doing that right now. Yeah.
Make sure to minus D4 from that.
From his skill check.
It's for an attack roll. So
Okay.
I assume
Okay.
since this really isn't an attack roll situation.
It's in the case of your subtraction, I'm actually going to subtract a d6 from him.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm doing the best I can, Becca.
I get it. And also, I'm writing out the.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Is there any way I can provide assistance either with using my wheel or woe or guidance or something to Granny?
So the only guidance definitely not.
Okay,
Wheel
that's
and
fine.
woe maybe.
Okay, because the wheel and woe are the bad, so I can take from him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Does Granny already have advantage?
There is not an attack roll to
This
this.
is like rock, paper, scissors.
So the way it will work is on the count of 3, we throw out a finger. With your roll, you are pretty sure he is going to be waiting for your reaction.
So
He is reactive.
okay.
So
Don't change it on me now.
I'm not going to change it
I
on
worked
you.
hard for this insight.
All right. So Becca,
Yeah.
make sure your hand's visible on camera.
Oh, yes.
1, 2, 3. You and Weston begin to draw your pistols, and you can see that Weston was waiting for you to begin drawing. And because of that, is a little bit slower on the pull than you are. So he will lose an additional d6.
This man's rolling like 1d6. So I'm rolling 4d6?
You would be rolling 4d6. He is going to be rolling 5d6.
Ah. Why is he rolling so much?
Because he initially had
with-
7d6.
So I'd say that's with me and Fizzy helping.
Ah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We did what we could, man.
Okay,
Oh,
on.
it's average. What does this mean?
It will mean that you guys will tie and you will both hit each other. There is no. The only way you get out clean in a duel is if you win. If you tie, you're both getting shot. If you lose, you're getting shot.
Cool.
You could
Okay?
also argue that they both miss.
That too, but that's boring.
It
Like, come
is.
on. That's boring,
I think
man.
it's funny. They both like, oh, I'm gonna shoot you, and they both fucking miss. Some like random dude who was just trying to get back to his car to take that get shot in the knee. Everyone's like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
Or you
Yeah,
action
Granny would
movie
hate
it. You action movie
Okay.
it, the bullets collide in the hair.
So in that case, Granny,
Yeah.
you and he are both going to roll damage rolls. Simple as
Okay.
that.
Oh
You're
no,
both
his damage
Boy.
should be so bad.
you're both shooting each other. That's
I
it.
can take it. I have the health pool. I'm undamaged. Oh, that's an 8 on the dice. Plus 3, 11 damage.
Let me make sure I get his damage roll right.
Oh.
17. So how much damage did you do him?
8 plus 3, 11.
11? All right.
Yeah.
You both draw your guns and will fire on each other, neither being able to dodge out of the way of each other's shots. You managed to graze a shot across his arm, while he managed to plug you pretty solidly through the shoulder. And you both still stand, guns at the ready. And then he'll just put his gun away.
She'll holster. It's like, you got your one.
I did. You're still out of practice, though.
Yeah, I know. I tried to tell you this.
This was interesting. I think I'll see you again sometime.
I'd prefer you don't.
We don't always get to decide what we do and don't get to see.
You can't always.
Hey, how about another duel before you go?
No!
With
If you want to.
Anna is gonna pull out her longbow.
Are you gonna try and duel him with a longbow?
It's
What did
just
I
a
say?
front. No, it's just a front. She's planning on dropping the longbow and using deflect missiles, and then trying to throw the bullet back if she catches it.
That's very interesting. Okay. So I'll have you roll deception. Actually, no, performance, because performance would make better sense. He will try to roll insight against you.
Let me see. I only have a +1 performance, so a 14 total.
Okay. 14 and a 16. And you will watch as you two get a similar position, but then you'll see that his smile drops very quickly, and he's immediately going to drop 3 shots at you.
All right.
God damn it.
Let's see
damn
if
it,
they
Bobby.
hit.
Oh,
What did I
goddammit.
say about taking the bullets for me?
This is for herself. She wants to know. And if he is immediately firing the shots, she is also firing off a shot with the longbow before dropping it.
Gotcha.
Hit.
Oh gosh.
Hit. And hit.
So you're going to try to go for a deflect missile?
Yeah, and I'll pull a shot with the longbow. Because what's the bonus to it? +7.
Does an 18 hit?
Yes.
Alright. Bonus action. Empowering the shot for an extra +2 damage. As that is. And you can also roll his damage.
Okay.
You will.
One 20 and 11. Sorry, so that would be 41 damage total.
Right. Her longbow is 10 points of damage, and she's going to attempt to deflect the first shot, which, with a 16 she does, and is spending a key point to throw that one back at him. For, how far is he?
50 feet away. It was the same distance as he and Granny.
Okay, so this is at disadvantage because it's 2060.
Yep.
Ooh. Well, one of the rolls was a nat 20, so he's probably lucky that it's at disadvantage. But does a roll? 22 hits, so.
Yeah.
What is the damage of his shot?
His damage is a D10.
Alright, because that's what deflect missiles uses.
Yep.
Ooh. A 6 plus 4 for 10 damage to him. So he took 20 total, Tana took 31.
Okay. You will see that as you begin to move, he will squint his eyes harder and seem to start grimacing, and he's going to action surge and fire 3 more shots into you.
Can I, could I, like, throw a shield of faith? It's a bonus action.
You may.
I'm gonna throw a shield of faith on Tana, which gives you a +2 to AC.
Alright.
Which doesn't really help here, but...
So that would be 49 points of damage on his last 3.
Oh, Jesus.
Alright. She would be downed, but only with the last one.
Yep. And as you go down, you hear him put his gun away and go, "Don't disgrace my duel." He'll pick his coat back up and dust it off.
Granny, I can't remember if Fizzy's outside.
I am.
Okay. Well, Granny's
She
still
would've-
rushing over, but you might be closer.
Yeah. I'm gonna go heal Tana as this guy's walking away. I'm just gonna glare at this guy. Annoying. Just gonna say that to him as she's healing Tana.
Tana's getting up. You'd say,
For 8. You get 8 points of healing.
as Tana's getting back up, she just said, "I don't see what's wrong with it. We each had one
Granny's-
shot, and my shot was yours."
Granny's slaps Tana, actually.
Rightfully
That's-
so.
That's fine.
She said, "Don't fucking do that." She's like furious.
Weston makes his way back over to the other 3 people. Puts his coat back on. Yes.
As she sees him walking over, she's just gonna look at the guy and go, "So if we wanted to employ your services, how would we go about that? Not to the blue-eyed guy."
To the blue-eyed man.
Yeah.
He will kind of like look at you, quirk an eyebrow, and go, "I am not for employ."
Then why are you here?
Because one of my employees wanted to visit your friend.
So you're the boss.
Yes.
Who are you?
You can call me Ion.
Ion. Darius.
He will shake your hand.
Keeping an eye on things.
Boo.
The police arrive and take Granny to prison forever.
Granny's arrested and then killed for terrible puns.
No, Granny doesn't.
Crimes
say
against
that.
humanity?
Yup.
No, but like, Granny's just to Tada. She's like, 1, don't fight my battles for me. 2, don't taunt the extremely powerful gunslinger. Like, could have gotten killed, and it would have been my fault.
Oh. I was fairly confident that won't be anything too lethal.
He downed you in 6 seconds.
And he didn't have any honor doing it.
She just throws her hands up and just stalks off.
You need to stop. Oh, sorry, Becca.
Yeah, and like she stands up and she makes to like go towards the cart, and she looks back at Wes and she's like, "You had your fun. Get out of here."
I'll have it again. I always do.
Ah, fuck off. And she goes into the cart.
You'll watch as Ione makes a quick hand movement, and then you watch as the dot appears, which becomes a line, which becomes a plane, which becomes a box, which then folds back into a plane, back into a line, back into a circle. Sorry, back into a dot, and then disappears. Yes, Jason.
And Asher had been doing something now that Asher obviously wasn't in the line of fire.
Yep.
Could Asher have been watching the gun?
Yes, you may.
Okay. Is there a specific roll I need to make for it, or
perception? I think.
Okay.
Because you're trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That is. Oh, that's right. Asher has no fucking perception at all. So that is a 16.
You see that the gun has what looks to be a slide on the top.
Mm-hmm.
And does appear to discharge the shells. But the shells that are being discharged are different sizes. Small bullets, large bullets, medium-sized bullets, rifle rounds. It varies.
And are any of the shells still on the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
He didn't bother taking them.
Oh, okay. Asher is going to collect the brass.
Okay. You pick up the brass. It's 2 small caliber, 1 medium caliber, and 1 rifle round. Oh, sorry. There are 2 others there.
Yeah.
2 more medium caliber.
Okay. Cool. Asher's going to take those. Is going to go into the workshop. As he's kind of going through. Granny, when you have a second, I need to speak with you.
Yep.
Yep.
She'll follow you in.
All right.
To the workshop.
So Asher has all the brass lined up, and he does have the bullet with Granny's name on it. Does the bullet with Granny's name on it match any of the brass?
No. It is mixed, just like the rest of the brass he fired.
Okay. No, like engravings or anything on it, just shell casings?
Just shell casings.
Okay, we got the spells for it. Asher is gonna cast a detect magic. Actually, he's gonna do a ritual. I don't want to burn a spell right now. But as he's starting the component for it, and is as part of that meditative process, he's kind of drawing out from memory just the basic, like the mechanics of the gun. Obviously not like a detailed sketch, but like mechanically, like what he noticed as far as like barrel length and all of that and how it worked. All right, so 2 things. The first is, do you know how many duels that individual has won?
No, I've never seen him before in my life. judging from that weird trick he did with the smoke trails, a lot.
So
I
you
can't
have
remember how many
won
smoke
somewhere in the
trails.
neighborhood. So you've won somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 some odd duels.
I mean, there were a few duels, but
Not 63.
not 63. It's
You know how many people you have killed with your gun.
as I've explained before, I didn't exactly keep count, but I didn't think it was quite that high, but at least probably over 40
How many sets of seasons have you gone through?
sets of seasons. Well, I'm 68.
Add 5. She's lying.
All right. And there were 10 coming off of that man.
How many? Yeah, I don't remember how many. I didn't get the chance to write it down.
Over
I forgot
100.
Over 100.
Oh, okay. I thought you said 10.
Yeah.
No.
Ah.
More than me.
Where did you run into him?
What do you mean?
Why was he coming to Duel?
Look, I did not know him from my previous life. He didn't even know. How do I put this? If he had known who I was, he would have been interested in me as Maeve Shine.
Mm-hmm.
But he called me Aoife the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't seem to know that I would have gone by anything other than Aoife. So I think he somehow sniffed out that I'd killed a lot of people at some point.
I'm gonna hold your conversations right here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The folks who are outside of the cart. What are you guys doing?
Trying not to yell at Tana right now,
Fair enough.
personally.
Rod's picking the displacer chest back up.
It
And
was
taking
a
it back
good
inside.
effort. I know what you were trying to
I
do.
know exactly what you're going
I
for.
wanted to give you an escape route. Get you
Yeah,
out
I
of there.
know. If it had worked.
Uh,
Oh my god.
Vera is now kind of having been pushed to the ground by 3 people, going, "What just happened?"
Wait, the only person left there now is Kaz.
Yes.
It's only you and Vera now, Kaz.
A little evil chuckle coming from Rod as he scampers away.
That was Rod's true plan.
She's kind of eyeing on Rod as he's picking up the displacer chest. Like,
Vera will go, "Those are gunshots," and she'll kind of pick you up and kind of lift you so that you're standing and go, "Are you okay?"
yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. What about you? Yeah.
I'm okay.
I don't know what just happened. Honestly, I think there's a lot to talk about. I will explain it later. Right now.
Okay. Well, let's go into the cart, I guess.
Yes. Let's go to the cart.
Okay. I will say, unless any of you are going to say otherwise, you all begin heading back into the cart. So you can overhear the conversation Asher's having with Granny. Yes, Darius.
Can I at least do a perception check before I go back into the cart?
Whatever. Sure.
There were just gunshots at a dig site, Connor?
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, go
Are
ahead.
the archaeologists McShitting their pants? Have they shit my pants? Who did that? 'Cause it wasn't me.
It was definitely them that shit your
It
pants. Right.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
I don't see much. I only rolled a 12.
What would you get? You got a 12?
Total.
Okay. You will see that there is definitely a lot of people who are afraid. Most of the laborers who were nearby had immediately moved away, like when the duel started, and when the gunshots went off, they bolted. Maybe only a handful were still nearby when Tana decided to try and duel Weston, and those ones immediately ran when it became clear that the guy wasn't going to go for one shot. The only people who are still nearby appear to be the elf and the dwarf, who the table that they were looking at the maps on has been upturned, and you can see that the elf appears to be in a higher position than the dwarf, almost like they have been pushed down, and they pushed down the dwarf to try and make sure they didn't get hurt.
Guys, we'll just go. It's fine. All clear. You're safe to come back.
And you will see the elf gets back up, helps the dwarf up, rights the table. And things will uneasily begin to go back to normal, with quite a bit of murmuring now. But all of you are back inside the cart, and you can overhear what Asher and Granny are now talking about. Keep going, sorry.
So why does the gun god want you?
I don't know. No god's ever wanted me before.
Then why do you have two symbols on the back of your gloves?
I chose them.
They did not choose you? I'm pretty sure that is how the whole god choosing thing works.
I chose them.
Then how can you do all of your healing things?
Because, I don't know, they're rewarding me. I'm on the right path. I don't know.
They
I don't know
chose
how
you?
this works.
So they chose you.
But I chose them first. Like...
But clearly, the individual that is at least 100 years old is working with the gun god.
Wait, you think he's 100 years old?
Where?
Do you think I... How old do you think I am? I just told you.
You said you were in your 60s.
I said I was 68.
Yeah, she's still really young.
Where? And there were 60-some tendrils coming off of you, no?
63.
63. So either you have killed 63 people, or it is based on age. But that would not make sense having someone who looked younger than me, except possibly dead, coming after you with a gun.
You think he's older because he's better than you at shooting?
There are lots of people that are better than me at shooting. That is not what we're talking about. At least my gun doesn't jam, 3 out of 4 times I shoot it. Now, the point that I'm trying to make is he has some sort of divine connection. Before you, are all of the breaths that came out of the gun.
Well, that doesn't make sense.
Not at all. Because based on the bore size of the actual gun itself, none of these would have been the type of bullet that would have come out of that gun. So, this individual is choosing the type of round that is coming out of the gun itself. If you looked at the weapon itself, it was, first of all, ejecting cartridges, which that in and of itself is a very difficult type of weapon to carry around and maintain. The actual manufacturer of the weapon is beyond even something that my mother could construct, and to be frank, I only know of 1 or 2 people on this entire planet that could potentially even build a better gun than her.
Who would that be?
I've heard rumors of people on other continents. They're not anywhere close to here.
just looking at Jill. So you look very.
We'll get to it at break. Don't worry. It's something Jill and I figured out immediately. Motherfucker.
This weapon is either divine inspired, divine backed, or it was a gift from a god.
Well, I mean, it would make sense if a gift from a god or something inspired by God would seek out other gunslingers.
Mm-hmm.
Probably trying to test his merit, his skill. Honest to God, though, I've never seen him before in my life.
It comes across more as boredom. If he was truly looking to finish and best you, realistically, he would have used something with a lot more kick.
Well, he was saying, you know, something underripe fruit. I am rusty after all these years. He probably wants a challenge, a proper challenge.
All right. He probably does. In which case, you need something better than this. First of all. What the hell? You call it old reliable, but the thing is constantly jumping.
I had to make it myself. I don't exactly have my old gun.
Where's your old gun?
I lost it.
How do you lose it? Can't. A child could pick that up and shoot somebody. That is the worst. You are supposed to be a gunslinger, and here I am. I'm just going to leave a gun where a child can take it and just shoot up a school. Who the fuck lets children shoot up schools? Come on. Who would do that? They're just so irresponsible.
Quote Dicefunctional 2023.
In case you didn't know where we stood.
Anyway.
Why is it so loud all of a sudden?
Because Rod and Fizzy next to each other on the sofa. It's pretty loud.
Darius is standing between the two of them, hand on both of the chest. Calm the fuck down. Both of you.
First of all, we are both calm. Second of all,
you were not calm. You were yelling. Look at poor Rod.
Look at Rod.
And Fizzy.
Oh, Rod, I'm so sorry.
Rod has their ears covered. Fizzy looks confused.
I take gun safety very seriously. Very seriously. All right.
I've never shot anyone I didn't intend to.
Just because you have not does not mean that somebody couldn't take your gun. All right.
Look, I lost the gun when the train crashed, all right? It was out of my hands, and I couldn't stick around to find it in the rubble.
All right.
Where did you get the gun?
What?
I said, where did you get the gun that you had? Did you steal it?
I think I had it. I didn't actually address that gun. I think I just had it custom made. Did I have it custom made? Yeah. I had it made.
Who did you have it made by?
Guy in Vermune? I don't know. Out of character, I have no fucking idea.
So it's not that important.
Somebody not of consequence to Asher.
Probably.
All right.
It would have been like 50 years ago.
All right. So basic. First, the most important thing. For fuck's sake. We need to get you something better than this. I am tired of you wielding this garbage. You can do better. And the rest of the party is now depending on you. So I am not going to have this while you are part of the neighborhood watch. I'm just not going to accept this. All right.
You want to make me a better gun or find me a better gun?
I can make you a better gun. I can make you a better gun in about an hour if I wanted
to. Not to mention, you are always really far away from battle, but you're the only one of the only ones of us who can, not be knocked over by a stiff breeze.
Yeah.
You need to get a little closer.
We are going to correct this situation.
Maybe you need a sword. How do you feel about swords?
Can you?
A sword with a gun on it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you combine the
Some
two?
sort of gun and blade put together.
Asher's literally gonna point to his wall where he has one of those currently. Like that.
Sorry, the joke was there. You don't have to do it.
Look, Granny, we are going to sit down and we are going to figure out what it is, one, that you feel the most compliment you, and two, something that you would feel comfortable using. So that way you are not having these issues. Two, it will be something that you can get a drop on this fucker with. You can drop him and you can take that gun from him. So then you have two. Two is
Definitely need to
normally
get
better than
that
one.
gun away from him.
The duel was pretty short, but it did reveal quite a bit about him. He's quite egotistical, might even be challenging anybody else who can fire a gun remotely well. And also, he's very easy to provoke and doesn't respond well to even the smallest slight against him. Very likely to overreact.
Hey,
I will
Kaz.
say I don't think he's. Oh, sorry.
Finish your thought.
I don't think he's fighting any old person who can shoot a gun at all.
No, he's only
Maybe
fighting
at the
this old person who
beginning.
can shoot a gun.
Yeah.
Hey,
um,
Kaz.
it's more like I can tell you from experience. Sorry, that wasn't done. I can tell you from experience. It's no fun to shoot against to duel a guy who barely knows what he's doing. He's looking for challenges.
Do you know the name Ione in the criminal world?
Connor, out of character, do I or do I not?
In a criminal context, no. Everybody who is an Acasian native can roll history. Sorry, not you.
Mhm.
Not
me.
Tana. Granny, you could probably roll too.
Wow.
I've been here for 40 years.
Asher,
Yeah.
why are you rolling
I
bad
are
on that
Basically a
one?
native.
Why are
Can
you-
I get advantage?
Because you're a nerd, yes.
Because I'm a fucking nerd.
And
Did not do well.
then we'll
5.
also
that-
add,
Yeah.
he only fired the second set of 3 shots at me after he caught his first shot and threw it back at him. As far as the duel's concerned, it's 1 shot each. And I don't care who comes before or after, but he seemed that it was because I hit him that he fired again.
Oh, no, you also disrespected the basic rules of a duel.
You did kind of trick him.
There's etiquette to these kind of things.
Wait. The duel is not a place for trickery.
Well, then he's supposed to tell the rules apart from that. How am I supposed to know?
That's the thing. You don't challenge someone to a duel unless you know the rules. Dueling is not just something someone picks up.
Stop getting yourself into this. This is the second time or third time maybe that you're getting yourself into a situation where you could potentially get killed. Keep doing that. Stop doing that, please. See, I'm gonna be there to heal you, and then you're just gonna die.
Yeah.
It's true though. You keep doing it when, you keep going off by yourself. If you go off by yourself and you die, I can't help you.
Well, at the very least, he shouldn't bother us for a little while yet.
No, his boss is on a time crunch. So Kaz doesn't know Ione from a criminal sense. Anyone name familiar?
I rolled a 21.
You got a 21. Asher, what did you get?
11.
What did you get, Kaz?
17.
Okay. What did you get, Granny?
5.
Gareth?
Stressed out.
Oh, I didn't roll.
Oh, how long have you lived on that case?
About 5 years.
Oh, that's long enough. Roll.
I've only been here 3 weeks, or like whatever.
Yeah, like
4 weeks.
fucking Tana's been here for like a year at best.
Okay.
And
She hasn't been here for a full season yet.
yeah, exactly.
22.
22. And what did you get, Rot?
21.
21. Okay.
We both have a +7.
So, Kaz, you can say confidently that no, you don't know that name of anybody like that in the criminal underground.
Okay.
It's not no, you don't think you've heard of it. It's no, you've never heard of someone like that. This
Right.
guy isn't criminally associated, period.
Mm-hmm.
Rot and Darius would be vaguely aware of the name Ion appearing a few times, but in different contexts. Darius, at one point, there was some kind of an investigation that went on for a guy by the name of Ion, because the guy had arrived suddenly, had effectively made a fortune, and then had his own home made and isolated away from everybody else, which raised a lot of suspicion. People thought the guy was dealing drugs. Or maybe was some other kind of criminal, but nothing came of it. Rot, you would have heard of the name Ion for a different reason, because you would have heard it being mentioned in magical circles as some kind of a spellcaster. And you would know that they were being mentioned along the same lines as your master was being mentioned. So a very skilled spellcaster.
Who talks first? You talk first, I talk first.
I know him because he was suspicious for a while. I thought maybe he was a criminal version, somebody known in the criminal underground, but no, the only one I know of, at least, came in, made a lot of money, and kind of fucked off.
Sort of lines up with what I know, which is less of that, more of the fact that he's an incredibly skilled caster.
So why would a guy hire a gunman like that? Because he explicitly said the guy after Granny was his employee.
Then clearly he was fine with this guy dueling people, potentially deadly duels.
He also said he had a tight schedule.
Busy man.
Busy man.
And you ask why he'd employ someone like this gunslinger. He obviously has skill. He's just perhaps a bit unhinged. But for the low price of letting this man have 5 minutes to pursue his crazed ideals, you've got an incredibly skilled gun user on your team.
That's true.
Do you know what that spell was he was using? And she's gonna look between Asha and Rot. The one that let him do the.
Is that the technical term?
Yes.
If you guys were to guess, it'd probably be teleport, just with a different appearance to it. He casts the spell differently from a typical caster, and his has that kind of visual instead of a big bright flash of light.
Personalized teleport.
Oh, so he's a showy bastard. Well, that's our only lead right now on your side, Granny, for that, dude.
Well, as I said, he shouldn't bother us for a little while yet. He wants me to get better. Brush off some of the rust.
You're still so young.
I'll kill you. You know I'm human.
I think you're quite spry.
Thank you, Rot.
Darius is gonna look at Rot and go, "You're also making the same joke as me, right?"
No, I think that Granny's incredibly spry for her age. I don't know what it's different.
And with that, we will take a quick 10-minute break.
We'll be right back. And we're back with Soup.
So, things have cooled down a little bit more. Your wounds are... You guys are now licking your wounds and getting back to a normal situation. So, what would you guys like to do right now? Vera is in the cart with you all.
Hey, wait a minute.
I'll start cooking.
Oh no, I don't think Vera ever met Cermet.
No, she hasn't. Did she hear us talking, by the way?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh god, that's so awkward. I'm definitely not a killer.
Vera will just kind of like look at you a little bit.
No, she didn't. She doesn't come out and say it.
Yeah.
I'm not a killer. Oh yeah.
I am not a crook.
I am not a crook. Lovely to see you in the cart. And then she goes to her room.
The cart's bigger than I thought it would be.
That happens.
Well, thank you for letting me be here.
Oh god, she doesn't realize she just had to herself.
Out of character, is there anything you guys wish to do? Or any scenes you guys wish to play out?
I am cooking.
Donna is cooking?
Oh my gosh. That's a nat 20.
Hey, perfect.
Perfect for what she has in mind.
Okay.
Asher is just gonna... Actually, Asher is going to work with Granny on figuring out a design and like style of weapon for Granny's next weapon, and if possible, start getting to work on it.
Revolver.
Got it. Revolver.
She can fire any gun,
Mhm.
but she's got a style, you know?
Gotcha. Okay.
She's got a vibe.
I'm assuming
said
Asher
aesthetic.
already has like blank chassis for a revolver, so he'll get to work.
Yeah. You already have some ideas of what revolver designs look like. Yeah.
Literally, he's built. Yeah. The shotgun's a revolver.
Right.
Rot is tying a little bandana on him head and hopping in the displacement chest and going to start cleaning up the tower a little bit.
You're going to start cleaning up the tower.
Yeah, to escape the incredibly awkward air between Kaz and Vera, and to encourage Kaz to talk to Vera more, but not have like a
Can I
crutch
join
around.
Rot?
I'm
Yes, you
joining
may.
Rot.
You may as well.
I want to see what her reaction is when she sees both two people climb into the chest.
3 people.
Three people. What
Also,
does that look
before
like?
before Rot jumps in the chest as well, he is going to find a candle, put it on like the dining table, and presentation it on and be like, and be gone.
Vera will look over her shoulder and go, "Did 3 of your friends just climb into a chest?"
Yes. That's also pretty normal.
Are they okay?
They're cleaning
Rot pops
inside.
back out and grabs a broom and then gets back.
A minute later, Deus's head pops out. Hey, Lizzie, can you bring us a mop and water?
Yes.
Technically speaking, you wouldn't be able to close the lid with the broom in, but it's funnier.
It is funnier that way.
Yeah, exactly.
No. Rot disassembles the broom and then brings it into the chest.
You guys are not making very easy for me to explain this to her.
Oh, well, you can explain it over Mia.
Uh-huh. What are you cooking?
So, without saying the ingredients, Tana is cooking, well, she's taking some of the worm and using it like shrimp, as she is marinating it with lemon zest, chili, and parsley, and then frying it in a cast iron skillet with charred kale and some guacamole, and having a side of a plum focaccia. Focaccia, I don't know the exact. But with the bread has some rosemary, a little bit of brown sugar, and some coarse sea salt, because we're right by the ocean and that's pretty easy to get.
What do you guys think a giant worm would taste like?
Well, in this... I mean, it's been living in a briny area, so Tana is using it like shrimp.
No. We know Joel's thoughts.
I think it would depend on where it lived and what it ate, and in this case, brackish environment, probably shrimpish.
Well, either way, it's a natural 20 on the roll, so it comes out great. Oh.
Don't you dare disrespect shrimp like that. I'm from the East Coast. I'll kill a man.
Oh my!
I am from Delaware. It's all water. It's all we have.
New Hampshire's right on the coast too.
I don't care. You have other things you're known for.
No, we
I
don't.
know
you guys are
This is Delaware. We have chemical water and rabid deer and seafood.
No, there's a fourth thing.
What?
Chicken shit.
And chicken shit.
I will say,
That's
in
all.
fairness, New Hampshire was only known for a rock face that looked vaguely like a man, which has fallen down as of now.
Yeah.
At least you had something.
It's
Some
on the
people don't think
state.
Delaware's real.
It's
At
like
least you had something.
the state landmark, and it doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist. We use it everywhere.
Better
It's
to have
gone.
loved until lost than to never have loved at all. But
It's
with
also shown
landmarks.
up by South Dakota.
Yes,
with the
Michelle?
card.
Saying where I'm from. Let's not get into it. Anyway,
Yeah, let's not get into Florida.
Where I'm from.
About 3 members of the party have disappeared into the tower to start cleaning. That will leave behind 4 others. Asher and Granny, you guys are talking over the design specifications for the gun. Pardon me. Which, basically, I'll have to kind of talk with you, Becca, on what you expect from the gun. And what Asher would expect to do with the gun. But as of now, it is effectively just Kaz and Vera. You two are eating dinner.
What the fuck did everyone leave for?
Long time.
I know that. This is so awkward. I don't know what Ruben's doing right now.
Eating. He's been provided a dish. He's eating.
What is he eating?
Tana's also brought food to everyone else in
Yeah.
the tower and in Ash's lab.
Oh yeah, Taz is just casually trying to eat her food, but then she's also avoiding eye contact.
I suppose your friends are busy, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, things have to settle down every once in a while.
Well, that's fair, I guess. I really do appreciate the flowers and the painting, by the way. It was very nice of you.
I'm glad you thought so. I would have given it to you in person, but we were busy traveling.
It's fine. I was probably at work at the time. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's been a rough. How many long weeks have we been tracked down by Swearo? Out of character.
2 or 3 weeks, easily.
Looking at notes.
Well, someone will figure out. Someone will figure out the exact number. Don't worry.
It's been a long week. I'll just put it bluntly.
Well, that's fair. Sorry, that was Connor yawning, not Vera. Well, I suppose as long as you guys are enjoying yourselves, that's what matters.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. More of a panic sense.
Well, why else are you doing this then?
Kind of just been wandering, looking for answers, I suppose.
Well, that's fine. But don't you enjoy doing this?
50-50, depending who you're asking.
Well, then what would you want to be doing?
I don't know, honestly. I think it's kind of weird going from working at a circus to effectively being hunted down by somebody, but we're not anymore.
Well, but what would you want to do then? What else?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm only here because I'm trying to find evidence for my uncle.
What's happened?
He got arrested for something he didn't commit.
Well, I'm sure things will turn out well for him.
I'm not sure.
Why?
We've been... I don't know, there's been dead ends lately. So there hasn't been much stuff to find.
Well, I suppose that's fair.
Sorry, it feels like I'm venting to you. I really shouldn't do that.
Well, it's okay. It's fine. I suppose everybody who... I suppose strong people need someone to talk to as well. It's not a problem.
Do you think I'm strong?
Yes.
That's a bold assumption there, but okay.
I think you and your friends very easily are strong.
Okay, yeah. Sure, maybe strong. Out of character, that is... There's a real strong strength score among these characters.
Strong.
Well, I don't mean strong in the physical sense. Bear in mind. It's strong force of will, I suppose, is the word I'd use. You're strong because you are in a bad circumstance and you're still going. You're strong because you're in a bad situation with your uncle and you're still trying to find the truth. It's not physical strength, it's mental strength.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense now. I mean, hopefully we could find any evidence. I don't even know what Ruben is.
He's a monkey.
Yeah, he's a monkey. I guess.
What's so funny? What?
What if he's not a monkey?
He looks like a monkey.
Ruben. What? Is he still eating right now?
Yes. Ruben is taking more careful bites. He's trying to avoid making a mess of himself.
Oh. He's being so polite right now.
Yes, he is being very polite right now. That is not what Ruben used to do.
That's weird, but okay. Hypothetically, Ruben's not an actual monkey. He looks like one right now, but he's not.
But if he looks like a monkey, does that mean he's a monkey?
I'm not entirely sure. All I know, he's fiendish, but that's about it.
I suppose he does have a devilish personality, doesn't he?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense, yeah.
Well, I do still wish you all the best of luck. Hopefully everything goes well.
I hope so too. How have you been doing? As she's choking on water.
I've been good. I've been basically just doing what I normally do. I work and I read and picked up gardening.
Oh, you picked up gardening?
Yes.
Oh, what have you been planting?
Currently an herb garden.
Oh, an herb garden. Okay.
But I've basically just been entertaining myself effectively. I suppose my life isn't as interesting as yours, is it?
Don't worry about it. I'm pretty sure yours is as interesting as mine.
Well, that's very sweet of you. While you two are having this conversation, Darius, Fizzy, and Rot, you guys are cleaning up the tower.
Alright. Let's figure out how we want to break this up.
Rot hands you the broom, Darius, and then starts prestidigitating every 5 feet.
Why did we need a broom and a mop and a bucket if...
Well, we didn't. And then you two also came. And can you do this? Let's get to work.
Darius is gonna look at Fizzy and out loud say, I mean, he's kind of impressive. Like,
Cool.
that's neat.
That's neat. I'm just gonna just use the mop.
Do you know how to use a mop?
Do you know how to use that?
No.
Darius is going to swap her and hand her the broom and go, see these dirt piles on the floor? You see all the dust and stuff? Just push it into a pile.
Okay. And then she's gonna stand back. She's gonna be like, you might want to get behind me. Stand back. Is there a window? Is there a window?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gust of wind. And get all the dirt out. Actually, I have it prepped today. Connor can look and confirm that I actually do in fact have it prepped today.
Yeah.
Darius is holding the mop and the broom at the same time at this point.
Just for the comedic effect of this and the cartoonish effect, I want the cloud of dust to go out, and then I want Rot to turn around and be covered in dust. Like, I came here to do this. It's a peaceful thing. It's a moment of reflection. I appreciate the help.
I'm gonna do it in a different room.
Yeah, why don't you clean up on the glass floor?
Yeah, I'll go do that. She's gonna
Yeah.
go upstairs.
If you need to open any, make sure to open
Yes, I'm
Windows.
gonna make sure to open the windows.
before you. Don't break anything, please.
I might not know how to read. I have common sense.
I was just checking. I believe
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you.
So much.
I'm just gonna go upstairs.
You're doing so well and you're learning. I support you.
Fizzy is gone.
That feels like a threat. Why would you say that like that?
The second Fizzy is gone, Darius is gonna put a hand on Rot's shoulder. We should talk.
We are currently.
You can continue cleaning this. I know you're immediately gonna be awkward because
Probably 5 foot. That's his agitation.
and Darius, without missing a beat, the second his hand goes down, goes, "You know you're an incredible magic user." Legitimately. Like, it may not be the magic you wish it was, but you're still incredibly capable.
I'd like to clean in a different room.
Darius, by the way, is sitting on the displacer chest.
Rod is going down the closest hallway.
Darius is no following. No matter what anyone has told you, you're a valuable part of this team because of what you can do.
I thank you for thinking that.
I don't think it, I know it.
Can you not see that this makes me visibly uncomfortable?
Yeah, and I want to know why.
I don't like it.
Why don't you like people telling you you're good?
Because I don't like it.
Is it because you don't think you're good?
I don't have time to delve into all that. I just don't like it. So please, would you please just stop?
Right.
What?
Eventually you're going to have to learn to like yourself, as you are.
Rod is gonna push past you and go back to the chest. And not say anything, get in the chest, go to his room. The door slams a little harder than usual. But not like a slam. Rod would never slam a door. But there's I said this behind it.
Darius is gonna go help Fizzy at this point. Making a note in her journal before she goes, though.
Stop looking at me! Somebody else talk! I gotta go!
Yeah, can I just say, I imagine the door opens up again shortly after, as Raj rushes over to Sermon, kind of ushers the dog into the room and then closes the door again.
Sermon walks past the door and opens.
Yeah.
Very cartoon-like.
Abduction!
When Darius gets up to Fizzy's level, she'll go, "Oh, it's gone."
Where did Rock go?
Back.
Hey!
Because I'm slowly trying to instigate him.
What that means?
I'm poking and prodding at him.
Hey!
Because there's something wrong with him. Beyond the whole... People don't act like Rot does on their
Yeah.
own.
I was gonna say, I don't know how people act in general, so like, I'm not the person to answer your questions or like to tell you things.
I'm not needing someone told. People don't act like Rot does unless they've been told that's what they deserve.
Oh. Well, that's not nice. No one deserves that.
No. And Rot does not like himself, which means someone has made him think he shouldn't.
Well,
And I'm going to keep poking and prodding until eventually Rot lashes out at me. Fully. Because I don't know any other way, because Rot will continue to protect whatever vision of whoever did this to him is. Because that's what abuse looks like.
okay.
So if you see me pushing Rot, I'm doing something probably someone else hasn't done. And we only have so much time, because if he does not put some serious effort into saving himself, he's only got, like, a little less than a year to like himself, and I refuse to let him die not liking himself.
Let him die, so we're gonna figure that out at some point.
I kind of get the feeling he doesn't want to.
I guess we'll have to change his mind.
That's step one. Because if he was truly wanting to solve his own death, I feel like he'd be looking a little harder. Now then. It is fucking cold in this room.
It's very cold.
We need to figure out a way to start heating this place.
Isn't Asher good for figuring that out?
That's right.
I do know we'd have to do it at the bottom, because I don't know a lot of things, but I know if you go the bottom, the fire goes up. Like when you put it in a chimney, it goes up.
You have chimneys where you are.
Me, I've just seen them.
Okay. I don't know what your Underdark is like. It's vastly different.
Nah, no. There's no chimneys there.
I don't know how a chimney would work underground.
Yeah, no,
'cause
it
that would
wouldn't.
that would infer burning something, and I'm not sure if you want to be burning something.
No,
underground.
you don't. I'm pretty sure you don't. But no, you would have seen that above ground.
Well, let's continue cleaning now that I've pissed off the prestidigitation machine.
I will go back to cleaning.
Rot. You drag Sermit into the room with you. Close the door behind you. And you will hear Cause pipe up. Are you okay?
Really thought you were about to join in on that, but I'm fine. There's no actual damage. It's just incredibly uncomfortable.
That's fair. Can you just do me a favor?
Yeah.
Just roll persuasion.
Persuasion.
That's a -1.
That's a -1. Ra's not a good anything except for a smart play.
This is not fair.
That'd be a natural 20. Big brain boy.
Would it be
I'm-
disadvantaged since Cause does live in your head?
No.
Okay,
It's fine.
I wanted to check.
I am sorry about how your friends treat you. Well, not treat you, how they made you feel. I don't... I'm not supposed... I think they do mean well.
Just because someone means well doesn't mean... Any way I say this is going to sound absolutely contradictory. Just because they mean well doesn't always mean that they mean well.
Yes, that is true. Yes. Rot, I do think that it might be a good idea for you to start trying to fix your situation. I can help you. I really can.
Why should I? So I can go back to being a massive disappointment. A failure. So I can look my parents in the eye, who I begged and pleaded and practically got on my knees and asked and begged to get this position, and then I failed them.
I think can you just roll me another persuasion, actually?
I swear to God, if you roll another nat 20. What the fuck?
Did you really?
Yes! Just for proof.
I mean, you know Joe can't be lying. I'm sitting right here. I'd never let them get by with that.
That's so funny. You said if you roll another nat
Apollo.
And it is on the die that you bought me for Rot. So
Apollo, we need
the blood sacrifice worked.
The blood sacrifice I got immediately upon opening the package worked.
Apollo, we need to have a conversation about prophecy.
Little natty 20.
Rot, I think you can help yourself. And I think you do deserve to. And Rot, you need to understand something. I'm not supposed to talk with you like this.
What do you mean? You've always...
This is different. Rot. Rot, this has all been a lie.
What has?
The god that is responsible for me is the god of excuses. My job is supposed to make you worse. My job is supposed to make you fall for tricks as much as possible until you dig yourself into a hole you can't get yourself out of. That's my job. That's what I'm supposed to do. I can't do this. I can't let you be like this. You're a good person, Rot. Oh no. You will hear something snap. Just a loud pop. And then you'll watch a corner of the room up near the ceiling where the shadows are darkest. It starts to get darker, and like ink, something starts dripping down. And you will see that a form pulls itself up and out. And it's just the form of an androgynous looking individual with his mouth stitched shut. And it will grab Cause.
Like the weapon?
The weapon.
Like both hands on Cause, pulling back.
Okay,
No
I need you to
hesitation.
make a strength check against it.
Listen, we've got 2 already. We've done it 2 times.
Give me another.
We can get a 3rd. I believe in you so much.
It's not a nat 20, but it's still not.
It's not horrible, but it's not the best it could be. Mine's a 12 on the die, so that is obviously higher than a 1. Oh, that I plus 1. What's
Plus 1, so
plus
15.
13. Lucky number 13.
You will manage to kind of knock the creature away, kicking it solidly in the chest. And when you do, you will feel a stinging sensation like nettles on the foot that struck it. And you manage to pull Cause away from it, and you will hear Cause talking to you and going, sorry, Rot, you need to... Fitz, you need to listen to me. You need to let go. You need to do better. You can be a good person. You are a good person. There's nothing wrong with you.
I can do better with you. And Rot is going to back up to the door, open it, and like turn himself out of the room away from the fucking icky gooey boy.
The creature is going to try and grab Cause again.
I'm holding tight. Is this another?
There's another strength.
That's a 5.
13 on its size.
I just got beat at 13. I just got roll higher than 12. That's a 19 on the die.
+1 for a dirty
For a
20.
dirty 20. And Rot will out loud go, no!
At that point, Asher is gonna kind of go, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
and
did
then
you
lean
hear
out.
that? Rats?
You can hear Rot being like, I won't let you take them!
Gonna
What
up.
were they at?
Gonna run over to Rot. What's
Asher's gonna
You
look over the
will-
banister.
Rot, the creature will start backing up into the darkest corner of your room, and you will see its sewn shut mouth begins to form into a grimace, pulling the stitches and opening its mouth slightly. And behind those lips, you can see just blackness. Cold, somewhat comforting blackness. And you'll see it points a finger at you. And in the voice of your god goes, good luck. And you feel your powers leave you. And then it vanishes into the wall.
So you're a level 6 commoner now.
Rot just drops to the floor. And
Granny?
still like has Cause and is like cradling Cause.
Yeah, Granny was already on her way, so she drops next to Rot and he's like, Rot, like, what happened? Are you okay?
What the fuck is going on?
I'm nothing. I've got nothing.
No, you are in fact still here.
I'm here, but it's gone.
What is gone?
What?
My magic. It's gone.
Cause? Is Cause still here?
I'm still here.
That's one good thing.
What? What did...
I think I just saw my god. And he...
There was a fucking god. Oh my...
Dude, not now.
Why are there so
Conrad.
many gods? I need to start work on this gun too. Fuck.
No.
God of excuses.
The god of excuses?
What I was told.
There is a god of excuses?
A line in masquerades itself as the god of reason, cause, and motive.
Then who is the god of reason, cause, motive, all of that?
There isn't one. There isn't one. They're
All
just
of these...
they're just the god of excuses. That's
All
it.
of these gods are fucking useless.
Asher, now is not the time.
I'm just saying.
There's more important things right now, which is Rot.
Rata is still here.
Look at Rod. Do you think he's okay?
I think he is having a rough time.
Yes.
You're having a
Rod.
very rough time. Rod, do you want to hold a cat?
No.
Rod,
All right.
we're here with you. We'll figure it out. This isn't the end of the world. Look,
To you, maybe it's not. This was all I had. And now it's taken from me as well.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So, wait. You could cast magic before you died.
I never died. I've never passed away.
Before you didn't die. You could cast the magic, no?
Small, useless things. Not like this.
But then a god came and took the power away from you.
No, I was given the ability to do things and now it's been taken from me. By the same one who gave it.
Cause, how are you? Well, you still have
Wait.
cause, isn't that?
Wait. No, Rod,
He's magic.
if you could cast magic before, you can still cast magic now.
Rot is really starting to like breathe heavy and like obviously visually
Alright.
going into some
Would-
sort of like
Gra-
attack.
Yeah, we're- Granny,
Would,
Granny, get
would-
back here. We need your
No,
blanket.
no, wait. No,
Granny?
Not Granny, there's the other grandma in the party. Other grandma,
Would-
we need you.
Oh,
Hey.
okay.
Granny,
Would
what?
Rot allow Granny to like kind of pull him in tightly and like hug him tightly?
There would be no resistance, but also no response.
Okay. Well, she does that. She kind of like basically wraps half her whole body around you. It's shelter.
Rot still has cause.
Yeah.
Clutched.
There's got to be something we could do. There's always an answer. Always.
Where did I
Well,
put
I-
in that?
I was going to. Tana's going to stride over, just like dropped the food that she was carrying her out, and is just going to do a gentle punch to his gut, and then hug him and say, "It doesn't matter where you get power from. It doesn't matter what you think you are, what you think you'll become. The power was yours and you still own it. It is yours still. You might not be able to find it again, but you still know that feeling. You know the way to achieve it. All you have to do is get up and keep moving. You don't have nothing and you're not nothing. You have all of us. You have your family, you have a lifetime of reading and studying and learning to be better and do better. All you have to do is take that step and keep going forward. It's not easy for any of us. We all have the obstacles that get in our way, and some of them seem insurmountable. But that's why you have people to go with you.
By the
You're
way,
not doing it alone.
the call for Darius went through the entire. Remember, it goes through everybody heard this.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I was waiting for a point where Darius would come in.
Rod, Fitz, I'm so sorry I did this to you.
It's not your fault.
No, this is.
I should have known. Nothing good will last.
Darius will crouch down, put the blanket over his shoulders, dump a blank book in his lap, and go, "We start again. I'll teach you. I don't have an amount of magic in my blood, yet I can spellcast. I'll teach you. I know.
Raj basically going catatonic. Just like
I think he needs some time to adjust.
Ra is going to nod at that. And then not aggressively and not rudely, Ra will start like
If he
take
starts
the
like
blanket off.
yeah,
And like
she'll let him go if he starts to move out of like
Mhm.
embraces.
and Ra will move to his door and turn around and look at everyone and go, "Thank you for your concern. It's appreciated."
Rot. Come back to us after you've rested, okay?
And
Promise me.
I promise.
if you want a leg up on spells and stuff, learn spells, not any sort of divine casting. I have my older sister Izzy. She is an instructor at magical academies. She could easily get you summoned by 6, so that way you are not just starting with nothing. Because starting with nothing is much harder than having at least a bit of something to work off of. But I won't do anything until you let me know what you would like to do. And if you want a weapon, if you want armor,
Asher.
I can get that turned out very fast. Okay?
Asher.
Granny puts kind of a hand on Asher's shoulder and is like, your solutions are great. You can discuss them with Rot later. Think about them and share them later.
Rat's gonna go into his room and shut the door.
Shit. This may be kind of my fault.
And how is it your fault?
Let's step away from the door so he can't overhear this conversation.
Rat lays down
overhear
and
this-
goes to bed immediately.
He can't hear the conversation.
I'm actually going to stop your conversation because we know how this is going to go, and I'm going to go back to Rot.
I'm going to bed. I'm tired. It's been a
You are
long
going to bed.
day. I'm going to sleep.
I don't like that Connor's stretching before this.
I can't either.
I can't either.
Rot.
Yeah.
Fitz.
Yeah.
You lower yourself to bed and dully, mutely, you drift to sleep. So overloaded that you are having trouble feeling. And then you have a dream. It's you and your brother. And he's sitting there looking out over. Actually, remind me, your brother, who was in the military, he's a farmer now, right? Yeah. He's sitting there looking out over his field. And he's kind of facing away from you just a little bit, and he goes, "Yeah, I know. I really do like this. There's a piece to it all that I never got to see back when I was serving."
Rot's just kind of looking at him because Rot misses his brother real bad.
Your brother will turn and look at you, and you will see that he is looking at you with black, opalescent eyes. And in fairness, your brother did actually enjoy this. You like the military too. But this is different.
Who are you?
I don't think I'll give you my name just yet. Name's earned. You're doing good, though.
You'll forgive me if I'm a bit hesitant to take anything you say as truth.
In that case, I will tell you this, and I will say it, and swear by whatever you'd like me to. I am not a Linen, nor am I their agent, nor do I work for them, nor do I care about them. I never have been, and I never will be, and in all honesty, I do consider myself a little bit better than a leech like that. But words don't grant trust, do they?
No.
May I say something about you that I find the most interesting?
Enough people have said things about me today, so why not one more?
That Fauchard, cause he outright told you that he betrayed you. That his entire purpose was to betray you. And yet, when the moment came down to it, and something was ready to steal him away from you, you still considered him enough of a friend to hold on tight.
He wouldn't have told me if he didn't regret it. I don't want to see others suffer for things that I've done or that I've been a part of, or I'm tired of things ending wrong. And that seemed like it would turn to a wrong end for cause.
You're not wrong. It would have. A Linen has no need for a broken tool. It would have broken him and recycled him. For as low as you feel right now, you did make the right decision. For as powerless as you feel, you stood up against an agent of a god.
Where did it land me? Right back where I started. With
Yes.
nothing.
Yes. Step one is just that. It's step one.
Not quite sure what you're hoping to inspire with your speech, but I don't know if it's really landing.
Oh, shut up. Well, I understand that you're feeling bad right now, but I'm hardly looking for any attitude.
So the other dream was you as well.
Yes.
Interesting. Interesting, the two visages you've chosen to take. My mentor and now my brothers.
It all depends on the moment. Sometimes you need a bad memory. Sometimes you need a good one. That's just something I picked up from being a father. You need the good with the bad. You take it all
Really?
no matter what.
really feel at a disadvantage here not knowing who you are. You seem to know quite a bit about me.
I know quite a lot of things.
I would imagine. I used to think I did as well.
No, you still know a fair amount.
Not enough. Okay.
Well, it's good that you still think it's not enough.
Never know enough. Like, there's infinite things to learn. I
So there's still the drive there.
always had the drive to learn, but I've not had the drive to fail.
That is something you'll have to learn to accept. No matter how good you are, you'll fail. No matter how strong you are, you'll fail. I've made mistakes. I've failed. I'm much stronger than you. I'm more experienced than you. I'm older than you. I've still failed.
You're really starting to sound like my dad. I'm just so honest with you.
Well, that's good. Ask any old person. They'll tell you they fucked up. Anyone that tells you otherwise is lying.
Fair enough.
You're right. You have lost everything. You are back where you began. Now what are you going to do about it? And the dream will end. And we will end the session there.
I say Taran would leave a plate of food for Rat when he got up.
That is a nice small detail. I will allow that.
And a note which I will send Jill privately because other people wouldn't know.
That's fair.
Am I gonna get my ass beat by Granny?
We'll see.
Maybe.
Thank you all so very much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and I hope my players enjoyed the game. We'll be back next week, and we will go from there. I'm gonna have to make some adjustments to Rot's sheet.
Just after we got everything fixed.
Sorry.
You're a level 6 commoner now.
I'll teach you how to fight. We'll make you strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as being a commoner. You've lost
strength.
Yeah. You've lost the magic, but you're still Rot.
Yeah, so you still have all your stats, you just
Yeah.
don't have your magic.
Yeah.
I have a 0 strength now. They took my brain.
We stream regularly, Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays. If you enjoy what we do, pass the word around, tell your friends. Our podcasts are available on all podcasting options out there. With all that said, please say bye, stream.
Bye, stream.
Bye.
My
stream.
stream.